Victor Kyprianou has made it Birmingham City 0, Peterborough 2. So we'll be straight there for the half-time news once we're done here at Anfield. And we're in the 5th minute of 7 of added time. Liverpool taking, as we are, another step towards the winning of the title, but it's been far from straightforward. Also, Manchester City 0, Manchester United 2 is the half-time score in the Women's FA Cup semi-final in Manchester. Alisson takes this free kick downfield. West Ham hoping that there's going to be one more chance, but that header from Fulkrug might be it. What a header it was as well. Talked about him before the match as a classic centre-forward. That was a classic centre-forward's header.
Just watching the replay there earlier on, when Maximum Kilman, the ball into the box, really didn't have a lot of pace on the cross. The pace and power that he generated for the header, it hit the joint of the post and bar.
West Ham attacking again, Gil Hermy, who's really brought something to this West Ham performance. What a piece of wing play that was. And in the end, Liverpool were able to come out with the ball. Gakpo helping out the Liverpool defence, and it defects out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. Quickly to Molineux, Charlie Slater.
Wolves 4, Spurs 2, full-time. Another horrible afternoon for Ange Postecoglou, while Wolves have now won 4 top-flight wins on the spin for the first time since 1972. For Spurs, their season comes down to what they do in Germany in the Europa League on Thursday evening. It's finished Wolves 4, Spurs 2.
Well, I say Kylian Mbappe has been sent off playing for Real Madrid in La Liga this afternoon. They are winning 1-0. Camavinga, who was sent off against Arsenal the other night, scored the goal, but Mbappe sent off. Barcelona obviously in pole position in the league there. Final seconds here. Wan-Bissaka wins a free kick in his own left back area. I make it we're in the 7th minute of added time. West Ham have got to go long. Free kick is taken. It's shuffled forward by Mavropanos. Kilman's gone up front with Fulkrug. Long pass forward, cleared away by Konate, but straight to Kudus. Kudus now, this might be the last chance, wraps his foot around it and gets the cross in, but a cross right into the gloves of Alisson, and the Liverpool goalkeeper calmly catches it in front of his forehead.
And that was cheered like a goal around Anfield. It really was. It was a poor cross in the end from Kudus. Alisson comes off his goal line, collects it, and will waste as much time as he can.
Yes, I just noticed a pigeon flying across our eye line. Alisson, in the form that he's in, wouldn't have been surprised if he caught that as well. As Ward-Prowse heads it forward. They're demanding the final whistle, and there it is. West Ham made a goal. West Ham made a game of this, most certainly. Kudus drops to the ground. West Ham players go to the officials, but Liverpool have won it with that late Van Dijk header, just 2 or 3 minutes after he'd been involved in a real mix-up with Andy Robertson conceding an own goal. But Van Dijk scored the goal. Salah set up the opener for Luis Diaz, and they've got over the line in this one, Liverpool. And now a minimum of 6 more points will clinch them the title. It's in sight, the winning post for Liverpool. Paul Robinson.
Such a storyline, such a narrative to this game. Every single emotion possible felt from a Liverpool point of view today. They were excellent in the first half, dominated the game, only went in 1-0 up at half-time. You thought in the second half it'd be more of the same. They'd dominate possession, go on and win the game 2 or 3-0. They didn't. You've got to give West Ham so much credit. West Ham dug in, they came here with a game plan, and eventually they worked their way back into the game. They worked their way back into the game that much that he changed to a back 4, committed more men forward, and give them credit, they got back in the game and they got the goal. Granted, it was an own goal, and at that point you look at it and you think nerves, stress, worry all affected Liverpool's performance in the second half, but that all disappeared when the equaliser went in. They reverted back to type, the team that they were in the first half. They started pressing high, winning the ball back, and there was a desperation to win this game, and it was a set play. McAllister's ball into Virgil van Dijk. He didn't have to do a lot. He bumped a few people around in the penalty box, got his head on it, and he's got what looks like an absolutely crucial win for Liverpool today.
The Liverpool captain, tall, dark hair swept back, is applauding the Liverpool fans in the Kop. Arne Slot then takes over, and it's Arne Slot now. Well, this is unusual for him. We don't often see him as animated as this. Not quite Jurgen Klopp, I'd have to say that, but it's a couple of clenched fists raised and he's waving all around Anfield. They know they're nearly there. Their next 2 matches, next Sunday, you'll hear it on 5 Live, they're at Leicester and then back here against Tottenham. If they win those 2 matches, there's nothing Arsenal can do. But were Arsenal to lose at Ipswich next Sunday afternoon before the Leicester-Liverpool match, then Liverpool could clinch it at Leicester next weekend. That's how close they are. And more applause, more Liverpool cheers ringing around after a final score of Liverpool 2, West Ham 1.
And we'll be back at Anfield. The full-time whistle has just gone at Stamford Bridge. Mike Williams.
Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2. A point, not much use to either of these two sides, really. Ipswich were 2-0 up at half-time and dreaming of a first win at Stamford Bridge for 46 years. Well-taken goals from Enciso and Johnson against the run of play, giving them that 2-0 lead. But Chelsea came flying out the traps at the start of the second half. Mark Cucurella bundling home after just 18 seconds. What followed was wave after wave of Chelsea pressure before the home side finally equalised through a sensational Jadon Sancho strike. The substitute letting rip from the edge of the box, sailed past Alex Palmer into the top corner. Chelsea were then desperate for a winner, had 2 good chances in injury time, Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez forcing good saves out of Palmer in the Ipswich goal. This result, coupled with Wolves' victory earlier, now means Ipswich 14 points from safety with 6 to play. As for Chelsea, they stay in the Champions League places for now, but could be replaced by Newcastle come this evening. Full time here, Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2.
In the Scottish Premiership, Hibs have just doubled their lead against Dundee. It's Hibs 2, Dundee 0 at the top. Remember, Celtic were about 10 seconds away from confirming their Scottish Premiership title earlier. It's obviously going to happen, but not today, because 10-man Rangers scored a 95th minute equaliser through Yanis Hadji at Pittodrie. It finished Aberdeen 2, Rangers 2. What about the EFL Trophy final at Wembley? Birmingham-Peterborough, Aaron Paul.
Half-time here, Birmingham 0, Peterborough 2. This has been an excellent showing from the Poch. They've been tactically excellent, Steve, giving Birmingham all the possession they desire, but looking so dangerous on the counter every time they push forward. Harley Mills broke the deadlock 15 minutes in with the most gorgeous of left-footed free kicks that nestled over the goalkeeper Rocky Allsop and just tucked into the top corner of the net. Poch came closest to bagging another goal. Birmingham defending well, but the second did land before the break. Hector Cipriani from the edge of the box with a stunning strike from the edge of the area after another counter-attack. Birmingham, with it all to do then, they haven't had a shot on target, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Alfie May early on in the second half. Plenty on the bench, 45 to go. Darren Ferguson on the hunt for yet another EFL Trophy medal, and his side are going well. Birmingham 0, Peterborough 2.
It is a Manchester derby in the semi-final of the Women's FA Cup. Emily Herbert, half-time.
Final question. Yeah, and United are in cruise control. They lead Manchester City by 2-0 at the break. Celine Vizé opening the scoring in style, firing into the top corner just 6 minutes in. 15 minutes later, Clinton doubled the lead with a bullet header from a corner. The only real action for City, yet another injury. Can you believe it? Mary Fowler forced off, clutching her knee. But as it stands, it's the reigning champions on course for a third straight final. Half-time, City 0, United 2.
Back to Anfield, where Liverpool have just beaten West Ham United by 2-1. So 13 points the lead over Arsenal with just 18 left to play for. Paul Robinson, correspondent John Murray have just watched that one. Paul, West Ham really gave it a good go throughout the 90 minutes actually, but especially that second half. Are they unlucky to end up with nothing?
I think after the second half performance, you can argue they were. I think Liverpool was so dominant in the first half. Like I said to you at half time, if Liverpool would have gone in 2 or 3 up, nobody would have argued. They were that good in the first half. They've had a couple of indifferent weeks with the results that they've had, but they look back to the best. Second half, said the longer that the game went, the more problems that West Ham could risk, if you like, committing more players forward. And they grew in confidence in the second half, West Ham. They really did, to the point where Graham Potter abandoned the back 5, went to the back 4, and they pushed more and more people forward. Granted, it was an own goal, but then, like I said in commentary, it was the nerves. You could hear Anfield went quiet in the second half, very uncharacteristically quiet, and that remonstrated down to the pitch, and you could see there was nerves. I mean, when he took Mo Salah off and he put Endo on, that was right, okay, let's just hold on to what we've got. Not played our best in the second half, but we'll stick to the 1-0, we'll hold on. But then as soon as they conceded the equaliser, it was like the shackles were off again, and they were the same team as they were in the first half. And they went chasing the game and they looked to win it. And obviously Van Dijk popped up with that header.
Well, there'll be so much Van Dijk chat after the game, and there was so much Salah chat before the game. In amongst all of it, not that he needed to or ever needs to, but Alisson just underlined his importance again. A few brilliant saves.
He was brilliant. He was absolutely excellent, and he needed to be today. I think there was one in the first half where he pedalled backwards, tipped it over the crossbar, but his one down to the left-hand side. I mean, it's not a flying top corner save. It's not one of these saves that you say is a camera save. It was really excellent positioning from him. His depth perception to his line, he knew where he was, his angles, and he got down so quickly to his left-hand side. But he's played his part. I mean, he really was brilliant today. Came out, read a few through balls well, marshalled the back four. Obviously nothing that he could do with a goal. And you touch on Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk. Funny that they've both just been put up for the post-match interviews.
Paul, John, thank you both very much indeed. Meanwhile, in Bahrain, the cars are lining up on the grid for the start of the Grand Prix. The commentary's on Sports Extra. Your commentator is Harry Benjamin.
The lights are on and the 20 cars are starting to peel into their grid spots. Alongside me is the McLaren mechanic Mark Priestley, as it's Oscar Piastri in the McLaren who lines up on pole position. Alongside him is the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, but don't rule out George Russell either in the Mercedes, who has been looking quick all weekend long. Could he spring a surprise? Lando Norris has to make up ground from 6th place. So too for Max Verstappen, who's been struggling in that Red Bull. He starts in a lowly 7th place. We're almost ready for the lights to come on the pit gantry overlooking the start-finish straight, which is a run down to turn 1 into the right-hander. As the last place car lines up, it is all eyes to the lights and foot to the floor as we go racing in Bahrain. And it's a good start from Oscar Piastri, who holds the lead. George Russell with a better start than Charles Leclerc, who pushes him to the inside, but Leclerc will have the benefit of the inside line. Russell trying to go round the outside on Piastri. There's almost contact. Piastri holds position and manages to hold the lead coming out through the right-hander on turn 2. Charles Leclerc dropping positions as Lando Norris rises up from 6th, and he's just about to make his way round the outside of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc through the right-hander of turn 4. Norris from 6th on the grid up into 3rd.
It's a blistering start from Lando Norris, exactly what he and the McLaren team needed. That gamble to start on the medium tyre, we said it would be slow off the line, and that's exactly how it played out, with Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari losing out positions 2 slots further back already. His teammate also not making up ground off the start. So this is exactly where McLaren needs to be as they get halfway round lap 1.
Into the tight left-hander of turn number 10 as they now accelerate down the short straight that leads you to the sweeping left-hander of 11. Then the fastest corner on the circuit, the right-hander of turn 12. The 2 Red Bulls have lost position, certainly for Max Verstappen. He's fallen down to 8th, just ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Yuki Tsunoda rounds out the top 10. But as we're edging towards the final corner of lap 1 of 57 of the Bahrain Grand Prix, we have got fights all the way up and down the field. The 2 racing bulls further back swapping positions. Isaac Hadjar has lost a huge amount of ground. He's down to 16th, but at the end of lap 1, it's Oscar Piastri who leads by nearly a second ahead of George Russell, with Lando Norris up to 3rd.
And full commentary is available right now on 5 Sports Extra. What a start for Lando Norris, the World Championship leader, the Brit, up to 3rd at the end of lap 1. Couple of other scores for you. Women's Six Nations, half-time, Scotland 7, Italy 10. Champions Cup quarter-finals, Toulon 12, Toulouse 6. And in Super League at half-time, it is Huddersfield 6, Catalan 14. So we'll bring you reaction what we can to Wolves 4, Spurs 2, Liverpool 2, West Ham 1 and Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2, and then build up to kick-off Newcastle Manchester United in full on 5 Live at 4:30. Let's get the news now with John Barnes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Ukrainian officials say Russian ballistic missile strikes in the northeastern city of Sumy have killed 32 people and wounded nearly 100 others. President Zelensky's chief of staff has accused Moscow of deliberately targeting civilians with cluster munitions. Cyril Lemunsky is Ukraine correspondent for the French TV channel TMC and has just returned from Sumy. He says 2 strikes hit the city centre.
The first one happened against a trolley bus in which you had a lot of civilians who were just roaming around the city. And then there was a second strike when already other people arrived on the scene to help civilians who were wounded and killed. And so it created an even more chaotic scene. Some members of parliament in Ukraine claimed that also there was an event that was organized by the military on that day and that the information was leaked. And this is why Russia has struck the city.
European leaders have condemned the attack on Sumy. Sir Keir Starmer said it was a stark reminder of the bloodshed perpetrated by Vladimir Putin. The Business Secretary, Jonathan Reynolds, has declined to give assurances that Scunthorpe's blast furnaces will keep burning after the government took action to save British Steel's plant. He said yesterday's emergency legislation would give the opportunity for that to happen, but it's unclear whether the raw materials needed can be sourced. Here's our political correspondent, Jack Fenwick.
The blast furnaces at Scunthorpe are the only ones left in the UK, with the raw materials needed to keep them burning quickly running out. Yesterday, the government stepped in. But this morning, the Business Secretary still couldn't guarantee the furnaces would be saved. Jonathan Reynolds said he couldn't share details about whether crucial coking coal would arrive in time.
A man in his 50s has died in what Nottinghamshire police have described as a gas explosion at a terraced house in Worksop last night. Emergency services found his body among the debris. Significant damage was also caused to neighbouring properties.
Elon Musk, the richest person on the planet, advisor to the U.S. president.
USA! USA!
The bare facts can make him sound like a comic book superhero or supervillain.
It's like Dark Knight, like the Joker is in charge.
I'm Jill Lepore, and my podcast delves in to the comic books and science fiction stories Musk read as a boy.
Foundation. The Hitchhiker's Guide.
The Batman. To help understand the future he wants for all of us.
I'm Doc Gothic MAGA.
X-Man, the Elon Musk origin story.
Listen only on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sports
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
OK, we'll be at St James's Park shortly. 20 minutes just over to go until full commentary of Newcastle versus Manchester United. Premier League scores from the 2 o'clock kickoffs then. Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2. So Chelsea, they do move up to 5th in the Premier League, which is the final Champions League place, but only go on goal difference above Aston Villa. Newcastle are 7th on 53. However, they've got 2 games in hand, the first of which, of course, is just coming up at St James's Park. Other scores for you: Liverpool 2, West Ham United 1. Liverpool are 13 points clear at the top. Tottenham beaten 4-2 at Wolves. Let's hear live from their manager Ange Postecoglou with Charlie Slater.
Ange, thank you for your time live on 5 Live. Just how frustrating of an afternoon was that for you?
Yeah, look, it was it was a funny old game because I thought in general our football was good, but yeah, we've obviously conceded some pretty poor goals, and that makes it very, very difficult to get a result out of that.
Just how much do you curse those errors at the back? Because every time you got yourself back in the game, no sooner were you back in it, you got yourselves back out of it again.
Yeah, look, it was like I said, that's us in the end because, like I said, in general, I thought our football was pretty good. Obviously, made a number of changes, but I still felt we were always a threat going forward, and we didn't really concede too many big chances, but we're obviously giving away 3 goals that sort of came from our errors, and off the back of that, it's very hard then to get a result out of the game.
Is it tricky to then lift the players again with Thursday in mind after such a frustrating nature of that defeat?
No, I wouldn't think so. I think we just got to recover now. We've got a massive game on Thursday night, and we just got to make sure that we recover both physically, mentally from today, and get ready for Thursday.
From the outside looking in, it looks like the entire season now hinges on what you do on Thursday night. Just how much pressure is on you personally and on that fixture?
It's an opportunity, mate. So that's the main thing. We've got ourselves an opportunity, and that's what we've got to try and grab.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Publicly, Ange, you take the...
Ange Postecoglou there, live on 5 Live, speaking to Charlie Slater. Let me just take you back to the 1974-75 season. So exactly 50 years ago, Tottenham finish 19th. Only once since then have they finished 15th or lower in the top flight. They are now 15th in the top flight. That was the year that Bill Shankly retired, Don Revie took the England job, and Brian Clough was manager of Leeds United for 44 days. 50 years, and this is Tottenham Hotspur's worst season since, albeit with Europe to come. Right, we'll bring you more reaction to the other big stories where we can, but we've got a big game coming up at 4:30, so just over 15 minutes to kick off. Newcastle United, Manchester United, and Mike Mane's got the teams.
Yeah, afternoon, Steve. For Newcastle, the team news is simple. They're unchanged from the side that beat Leicester on Monday. Their notable difference is on the bench, where Anthony Gordon returns amongst the substitutes in a Newcastle shirt for the first time since February. Had that hip injury, of course, to deal with. Manchester United, they'll make 5 changes. One we knew about. Andre Onana dropped after the 2-2 draw with Lyon in the Europa League. Quarter-final first leg on Thursday night. Time to rest and disconnect, were the words of his manager. So Altay Bayındır plays in the Premier League for the very first time for Manchester United. The other 4 changes, Harry Maguire, Casemiro, Patrick Dorgu and Rasmus Højlund, all replaced by Lindelof, just his 3rd start of the season. Eriksen, Xerxes and 18-year-old Harry Amas is going to be on the left-hand side of that midfield 4. That's his first ever Premier League start for Manchester United. So 2 Premier League debutants for Ruben Amorim's side this afternoon.
Before we do anything else, just want to say from all of us at 5 Live, just want to wish the best to Eddie Howe. You'll probably have heard that he's not been very well and that he's been in hospital. He's not able to take charge of Newcastle United this afternoon, so his number 2, Jason Tindall, is in charge for this game with Manchester United. If we've got time, we'll hear from Jason Tindall between now and kick-off, alongside Mike for commentary. Is Pat Nevin? Afternoon, Pat.
Good afternoon, Steve.
Well, this is a big old opportunity for Newcastle, especially after Chelsea's draw, isn't it?
It's opportunities. I'd go plural there, because there's 2 games in a few days. They've got a big one during the week as well. And before anyone else really plays around about their area in the league, if they win those 2 games, they'll be on 59 points above Forest, City, Chelsea, Villa. What a chance for Newcastle United. Now, there's not a Newcastle fan in here that doesn't know that's exactly the point. And of course, it's Manchester United. It should be a tough game, but it's not the strongest Manchester United you've ever seen in your life. Not brilliant form, particularly domestically. And as Mike was saying there, 2 players that are playing their first starts for Manchester United as well, who may have half an eye on another game for themselves during the week. So a lot in Newcastle's favour, but you've got to do it. You've got to go out and win this game. And with those 7 games in the last 10 that they've actually won, which is a great
stand by, Pat. Apologies.
Phenomenal.
Just got to jump in because Kieran McKenna is live on 5 Live after Ipswich's 2-2 draw at Chelsea. Is with Mike Williams.
Yes, live in the tunnel here at Chelsea with Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna. Great game for the neutral. Kieran, what's the Ipswich's manager's take on it?
Yeah, very good game. Of course we would have loved to have won from the position that we were in, but we're playing against a top opponent, so I think I can only be proud of the players, to be honest. I think they showed some outstanding qualities today in their application to the game. And some of the quality that we showed, I actually think we played much better in the second half than the first half, but that's football sometimes. Chelsea started really strong, we had to dig in. We were really clinical with a couple of moments in the first half, but the balance of play certainly wasn't a 2-0 game. But then second half I thought it was a pretty even game, and we had chances to go and get a 3rd and 4th goal. We made a little mistake on the first goal, and then fantastic execution from them in the second goal, and then both teams were pushing for a winner. So I think to go toe to toe today in the way that we did, I think we can be really proud of that.
What are you thinking when you send your side out at half-time 2-0 up and 18 seconds into the second half the home side pull one back?
Now, it's going to be difficult, there's no doubt about that, and we spoke about the start of the second half, but I don't think it was a mental issue or anything like that. We just didn't defend the first and the second ball well enough, and then Madueke is one of the best 1v1 players in the league, gets in a great position 1v1 in the box, and he can hurt from there, and we don't quite get our positions right in the cross. So then it's going to be really difficult. But actually I think one of the things to be more pleased about was a reaction from that point, because from there until Sancho scores his goal, it really didn't give away much, and I thought it was a really strong second half performance, and we're probably a better team in that phase. Then in the end, a short corner and a little bit of fatigue, and we don't quite get up to the ball, and he finishes it incredibly. But it was a big blow at the start of the second half, but I think the reaction to that was very good.
How close was Liam Delap to starting the match today?
I think he was as close to not being here as he was to starting it. So yeah, it wouldn't have been the right thing for him to start. He's not trained all week. He did really well to get through minutes last week when we seen what his injury was in the end. But he's a really, really tough lad, and he's a team player, and he's committed to the cause, and he wanted to be on the bench and available to come and try and make an impact if we needed.
And just finally from me, Wolves' victory early now means your side 14 points from safety with 6 to play. What's the message to the players and the fans?
It doesn't change really. The message certainly to the players is the same. We know that it's out of our hands, and the very likelihood is that we won't be successful in staying in the division this year, but there's a much bigger there's a really big picture behind the journey of the club, the future of the club, and we're all working towards that as well. Of course, the players working really hard for their individual seasons as well. So I think you can see clearly in the performances since the international break that there's no the motivation's high, the cohesion is really high, the players are all working for each other, working for the club, and that's what they're going to do until the last game of the season.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks.
Kieran McKenna live on 5 Live there with Mike Williams at the Bahrain Grand Prix. The World Championship leader Lando Norris has just been given a 5-second penalty for being out of his grid box at the start, so he's running third but now suffering that 5-second penalty. George Russell's second, Oscar Piastri leads. Full commentary now on 5 Sports Extra. Back to the EFL Trophy final at Wembley. Aaron.
Birmingham 0, Peterborough 2. Chris Davis, the Blues manager, has rolled the dice, bringing Alfie Mayon in place of Willem Willemsen, and turns things up just a notch. Birmingham having their first sight of goal. Jay Stansfield off the left, cut inside on his right, with Jed Steer going low down to make a pretty regulatory save. Peterborough still leading though through those 2 excellent first half goals. Harley Mills with the free kick, and Hector Cipriani with a drive from the edge of the area. All Birmingham in these open exchanges in the second half. 56 gone. Birmingham 0, Peterborough 2.
So it's 2-0 there. Is it still 2-0 in the Women's FA Cup semi-final between Manchester City and Manchester United? Emily Herbert.
It is. It's City 0, United 2. The home side coming out the box, so firing in this second half, full of energy. Where was that in the first half? Yui Hasegawa's free kick has just on the edge of the D, was hit up onto the crossbar. Calls a shoot as well every time they get near the box. They just haven't found a way through yet. But with half an hour to go, they still have the belief. It's City 0, United 2.
A couple of other live scores for you. It's now Hibs 4, Dundee 0 into stoppage time in the Scottish Premiership. In the Women's Six Nations, it's Scotland 12, Italy 10. Champions Cup Rugby, Toulon 12, Toulouse 11. That's the quarter-final. In Super League, it's now Huddersfield 6, Catalan 24. Full commentary in just over 10 minutes of Newcastle versus Manchester United. In the Premier League already today, Liverpool have beaten West Ham United by 2-1 in our commentary game here on 5 Live. 13 points the lead at the top, 18 left to play for. Virgil van Dijk got the winner for Liverpool, and he's been speaking to Gary Flintoff.
Yes, the Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk is here. It looked just towards the end you were sort of enduring your afternoon, but you very much ended up enjoying your afternoon. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously it was a tricky second half where obviously West Ham showed their quality. Players between the lines, players that are very comfortable on the ball. Paqueta, Kudus, they were dangerous, and we had to dig deep, and obviously to concede that late is obviously a big blow. Also in the manner that we did, but there was still plenty of time to fight back, and I'm glad we did.
In terms of the first half though, to be fair, you were right at them from the off, sharp out the blocks, scored a good goal, and looked, to be fair, back to your best. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, first half was obviously a big improvement on what we did in London against Fulham. We obviously had a full week to prepare, to analyse obviously what went wrong, and when not a lot wrong against Fulham, but 20 minutes went a lot wrong in those 20 minutes, and but definitely we had to start much better than we did there, be more on the front foot like we always have been throughout the whole season, but today especially showed again, and I'm glad we did. We scored a great goal, could have scored maybe a couple more, and still that they have the quality to punish you, and obviously they created some moments, what was expected in my opinion, with the quality they have, and then it's all about fighting and doing everything in your power not to concede again, and try to score the win.
Because of the way in which West Ham scored their goal, obviously you were involved with Andy Robertson. Was there sort of extra motivation for when you went forward for that corner? Did you think, right, I need to sort this out?
I think every corner or free kick I always feel that responsibility anyway, and so it didn't change. The only thing I was focusing on is the time that we had still to fight back, and whether Ask scored a goal, the winner, or anyone else, that was the main thing, that we just have to keep going, keep running, keep pressing, and find a way, and I'm glad we did.
And can I just ask, with the gap, the 13 points, which is incredible in itself, to be fair, it's an incredible points gap, but can you sort of explain why it has looked a little bit nervous in recent weeks? Is that just history? Is that sort of weight of pressure? Or is it just you're desperate to get over the line as soon as you possibly can?
I think you play in the Premier League, so you're playing against very good opponents, and the opponents we are in the decisive part of the season. Opponents are playing also for different things, and they will never give up, so they have the quality to punish you, and we have to try and play our game, and obviously that's not an easy thing. I think you see all the results over the weekend, over the last couple of weeks. Everyone is having difficult games. That's why the Premier League is maybe the most competitive as it ever has been, and today showed again that West Ham could definitely could get a result maybe here, but I'm glad they didn't.
Well, well done today. Great to see you with a smile on your face. Come full time, and you're almost there.
Keep going.
Thanks, Virgil.
Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, match winner today, speaking to Gary Flintoff. Back to the Bahrain Grand Prix, Harry Benjamin.
It's been a bit of a frenetic start under the lights in Bahrain. Oscar Piastri holds the lead from pole position. He's 4 seconds clear of George Russell in the Mercedes. Lando Norris with a mega start, up from 6th to 3rd, but was out of position in his grid box. He was given a 5-second time penalty. He has now served that, having come into the pits and changed his tyres. He's fallen down the order, but he's clear of that penalty now and can work his way back up through the field. But it's still advantage Piastri at this stage, lap 12 of 57.
What a day it's been. 5 Sports Extra for the commentary of that. Let's go back to St James's Park. We've only got 7 minutes to go until kick-off, and there's a wonderful tribute being made to a Newcastle great in front of you, Mike Minor.
There is, yeah, loads of white, black and gold tinfoil kind of flags being waved in the stand on the far side. It spells out the word Keegan, the gold flags outlining his name and the black flags filling in those big bold letters, and then a raised banner from pitch side that just says in 82 he came to save us, in 92 to entertain us. And Keegan was obviously a legend as a player and manager at Newcastle United. I believe this display was planned in and around the cup final weekend, but they obviously pushed it back to today. And how many great battles at Newcastle did Kevin Keegan have as when he came up against Manchester United? Some big scorelines, a title race with them. Unfortunately, Newcastle finished second best in, or maybe fortunately in Manchester United's case, in the mid-90s, and his name being tributed on the stand on the far side from where we sit right now.
Yeah, the Newcastle fans group wore flags, do an absolutely sensational job with these kind of big colourful mosaics. I don't know about you, Pat Nevin, as a neutral, I just immediately think back to Newcastle's 5-0 win over Manchester United and Philippe Albert's chip over Peter Schmeichel.
There are many of them, and lots of Manchester United fans will bring their own thoughts to it as well. By the way, just a word about Keegan. I played against him late in his career, and then come back to Newcastle. We played a game once down at Stamford Bridge, and we beat them 4-0. And he'd been European Player of the Year, and he worked harder than anybody else in that field. And he was 34, 35. It was extraordinary. His attitude to every single game was amazing. Learned more from watching that guy than anything else on that day. And there were some good players, including a certain Mr. Waddle, playing that day. So, no, fabulous memories of some of the great players here. And it's great they're doing that. And by the way, there's been another rather wonderful tifo up in the right-hand side of Keegan, and it's always fabulous. In fact, in fact, we're surrounded. They're everywhere. Walking in a Keegan Wonderland cracker.
2 different eras of Kevin Keegan. To our left-hand side, walking in a Keegan Wonderland, he's now been walked across the bottom of the tier, and it's a picture of Kevin Keegan, cartoon picture with the blue star in the background of him as a player in the black and white in Newcastle. And then to our right in the Gallagher end, long live King Kev, and a picture in that famous baggy cotton jumper that he used to wear with the white polo shirt underneath, his arms aloft in the air, and that's also been risen up to the back of the Gallagher end with the words "The Messiah" on the little flag that's been stretched out across the bottom of that stand as well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful scene at St James's Park. I also saw very pertinently today, an Eddie Howe banner. Eddie Howe did what even the great Kevin Keegan couldn't do at Newcastle United just recently, of course. Nobody needs reminding. He brought them that League Cup. Eddie Howe ill. He's been in hospital, unable to take charge of Newcastle today. Jason Tindall, his number 2, takes control of the team. So we'll bring you more reaction at half-time to the day's big sporting stories. And of course, we'll be back to Augusta as well. Final round of the Masters, 7:25 on 5 Live with Rory McIlroy's 2-shot lead. All that to come at the interval at St James's Park. Newcastle United versus Manchester United, one of the great fixtures of the Premier League era. And Pat Nevins with Mike Minor.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, the camera's just honing in on Jason Tindall in his bright white hoodie and black tracksuit bottoms as he's just embraced Ruben Amorim. The team's out here at an overcast St James's Park. Was bright sunshine when we arrived. It's since clouded over, but still mild here in the northeast. An important game for Newcastle, this one. This weekend they've seen Manchester City and Aston Villa win, but Nottingham Forest lose, and Chelsea earlier today drop points. That means the door's open for them to possibly, over the next 4 days, Pat, be as high as 3rd in the Premier League.
Yeah, and it's such excitement around this place. I mean, the celebratory feeling they've had since that cup final. But if they could get Champions League, what a season this would be for Newcastle fans, for how long they've waited. You know, obviously they played Champions League recently, but I think they would go into this one in better shape. So they know how important it is. They've got Manchester United, who you would argue have limited amounts of pressure on them today because the expectations are so low. They know that they've got Europe on their minds as much as anything else, but there's pride there. If you wear that red jersey, there should be pride. Very interesting, by the way, in the build-up to this. The warm-ups from the Manchester United, the warm-ups like I've never seen before, any other team, really unusual. It was like a training session, set up corner kicks against, set up free kicks in very specific areas against, really specifically for 2 things. They know where Newcastle are strong, but also new goalkeeper. He needs to know where to be. He needs every single moment where that ball's coming in, for which angle, when he comes, when he doesn't. Let's see how he manages.
Well, for Newcastle, they're unchanged. The home side this afternoon from their 3-0 win at Leicester on Monday night. So Nick Pope's in goal. Trippier, Sherburn and Livramento, the back 4. Dan Burn in the programme talking about how important it is now that the Cup is won, the League Cup that they won last month, how important now it is to get back in the Champions League. Guimaraes, Joe Linton and Tonali are in midfield. Tonali's 50th appearance for the Magpies. Murphy and Isak plus Harvey Barnes, their front 3. For Manchester United, as Pat mentioned, Thursday night is the priority. The second leg of their Europa League quarter-final with Lyon. A game that you can hear with us on 5 Live. It was the first leg that certainly has sparked the talking point for today's game, team news-wise. Andre Onana dropped. Altay Bayındır starts his first ever Premier League game, and he's just walked to the edge of his penalty area, having gone through his rituals on the goal line and patted his gloves together. Stands with his feet shoulder width apart. Big afternoon for him. Andre Onana has played every Premier League game since he arrived at Old Trafford. They both arrived at a very similar period a couple of years ago under Erik ten Hag. 5 changes, which includes the goalkeeper, plus Maguire, Casemiro, Dorgu and Højlund, who all drop out as Bruno Fernandes starts us off. In comes Lindelof, Eriksson, Zirkzee and Harry Amas as well. The 18-year-old gets his first ever Premier League start, got his debut last month against Leicester City. I'll run you through the Manchester United team in full in a minute, because Murphy is trying to get the early cross in from the right-hand side. Bayındır and Lindelof. That question of communication, and it is cleared away by Manchester United in the end, as we welcome listeners from the BBC World Service to St James's Park this afternoon. Newcastle United against Manchester United, underway inside the first minute. Livramento playing at left back today, squares it in field for Joe Linton. Space opens up out towards the right corner of the penalty area for Jacob Murphy. Couple of goals for him on Monday night in the win over Leicester. Cross in from the right hand side, and there's Joe Linton, but the flag goes up and it won't count. Newcastle thought they had scored inside the opening minute, but the flag up on the far side.
Very noticeable. What did Newcastle do? First 2 attempts to get the ball, get it out wide to the right hand side, put pressure on the kids. Footballers have absolutely no heart whatsoever. If there's going to be a weakness there, they're going to find out. Obviously they're going to try and put the ball in the middle and ask some questions on the new goalkeeper as well.
Clear yard or so offside. So United with Bindier in goal. Back three of Mazraoui, Lindelof and Yoro. Only the third start of the season for Victor Lindelof. Dalot, Ugarte, Eriksson and Amas, that midfield four. Fernandes and Garnacho flank either side of Joshua Zirkzee up front. Dalot, right-hand side, near side for Manchester United. The home side, Newcastle, in their black and white stripes, black shorts and black socks, are from right to left. Manchester United, red shirts, white shorts and white socks from left to right. Dalot has the ball again, tries to feed it down the channel for Garnacho. In comes Byrne with those long legs, slides in, and a throw into Manchester United's been given.
He just loves a slide tackle, doesn't he, Big Dan Byrne? And he usually times it so well with those big long legs of his. Just one intriguing thing that I've noticed really quite early on here. Alexander Isak, because he's playing against the back three, if Yoro allows him to go one-on-one with Lindelof, United have got a problem. Because I don't know if there's anyone who can deal one-on-one with Isak when he's got the ball running at them.
20 Premier League goals for Alexander Isak this season. Here's Ugarte, going to try it from distance, but the ball just escaped him, so the shot was ended up scuffed in the end. And as Livramento tries to break away down this near side, Newcastle's left, Manchester United win it back with Mazraoui. Now here's Bruno Fernandes, right hand side for Garnacho, 10 yards from the byline, just turns away from the box as Garnacho, and Fernandes again is there just to collect the ball with a little bit of time, a little bit of space. Eriksson playing in that midfield role instead of Casemiro today. Casemiro played the derby last weekend against Lyon on Thursday night. And a lot of keep ball here for Manchester United.
Yeah, they need to try and calm it down a little bit. They know this crowd is very, very lively and want to go up for it. If they can possibly quieten them a little bit, but that is a huge ask if Newcastle got a head of steam up. Interesting, Newcastle going down the right hand side the first couple of attacks. It's a little bit of shame for Livramento. I've been seeing him a lot recently. Livramento on this left hand side has been extraordinary this season.
Naturally a right back, and I think he's tipped to be the long-term successor to Kieran Trippier, who does start at right back today. But in the meantime, Livramento has to play on the left-hand side of the back four. Here's Murphy from distance! Driven low shot from the edge of the penalty area. Altay Bayindir was down to try and save it, went past him and went wide of the left-hand post.
Yeah, he's not looking confidence at the moment, Murphy. He's been brilliant for him this season, scoring regularly, making goals as well. And it looks very lively. And if you're playing against a back three, if you're in that wide position, you just get behind the wide central defender and the wing back. You get into that space, you will find opportunities not only to score but create as well. That time he did, not quite on target.
0-0, 4 minutes played at St James's Park. Jacob Murphy is having his best ever season since the 20 goal involvements he got for Coventry 9 years ago in the 2015-16 season. Long clearance away from Bayindir, headed down by Dan Byrne midway inside Newcastle's half. Isak inside the centre circle. Now Guimaraes spreads the play out towards the right hand side. Murphy's going to try and lift it early. Yoro intercepts, and then Harry Amas does well enough there. Played back to Yoro on the edge of the penalty area, and now Amas has continued his run. Suspicion of handball, certainly shouted by the Newcastle fans on that far side. Manchester United now go long to Garnacho on the left, laid back to Amas again. Got his debut on his 18th birthday last month against Leicester City when he came off the bench. Now starts for Ruben Amorim's side. Dalot in from the right. Ugarte's missed kick that, lifted it over the top, and behind it goes to Newcastle. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, that first little look of Amas there, it's one of those, because he's a left back originally, right? So you wonder, is it going to be a defensive one or one who wants to attack? He looks really comfortable on the ball, really wants to get the ball down and play some good football. You'd expect that for a top level player, but you just need to find out how good he's going to be defensively, and he will be tested today. Newcastle will make sure he is.
England under-18 international as well. Harry Amas played during the international break last month as Guimaraes tries to muscle his way past Eriksson, spreads the play well out towards his near side. Livramento nudges it with the outside of his boot to Harvey Barnes, who got the third of Newcastle's 3 against Leicester on Monday night against his former club. 0-0 after 6 minutes here though. Trippier, right hand side, uses the support he has from Jacob Murphy, then just goes back into his own half for Cher, who now goes with some distance on the ball. Yoro then treads on the ball, and Victor Lindelof had to react quickly there to help out his teammate.
Yeah, I mean, he scored a goal during the week, didn't he? And so he should be playing with real confidence, Yoro. And just looking at him just now, they are playing the ball back towards him quite a lot of the time. Instead of Lindelof, it's coming through him a lot, but also very noticeable. They're very comfortable giving the ball to Amas all the time. They really believe in that kid, so interesting to see how he does in the rest of the game. But at the moment, I'm quite impressed with the way United have started. Good liveliness about them. When I say United, I meant Manchester United, of course.
Battle of the Uniteds today. Manchester United's goalkeeper just invited a little bit of pressure whilst Pat was talking from Alexander Isak, distributed it out to the near side right rather comfortably in the end, goalless as it is. And again, Bayern just stalls on the ball, waits and waits till Isak gets within a yard of him and then clears it long. Now Bruno Fernandes can't get it to the halfway line. Guimaraes, the Newcastle United number 8, has intercepted the ball. Now faces up against the Portuguese midfielder of Manchester United again. Was there a push in the back of Guimaraes on the far side? Not given by the referee Chris Kavanagh this afternoon. We'll have semi-automated offsides today if needed as well. The new introduction right at the back end of the Premier League season. Hopefully get those VAR decisions moving a little quicker. Long ball by Manchester United. Trippier's there just to comfortably deal with that. Now in the middle of the Newcastle back four.
Yeah, the game really hasn't settled down into a pattern yet, and it's quite often the case in the Premier League. It's lively, everyone wants to get a touch of the ball. No one's really stood out massively yet.
Sloppy passes from both sides. The latest from Newcastle, and Garnacho's up to the edge of the penalty area. Dalot on the overlap right hand side, clips the cross up as Zirkzee kept that in play. I think he has, and then complaining for the handball as he brought it down on the byline. Murphy's moving away here, gives it to Isak on the halfway line, tries the back heel to turn past Yoro, doesn't come off and hits the Frenchman on the legs, bounces out for a throw-in on the far side on the halfway line to Manchester United. Dalot certainly overhit that cross. Zirkzee tried to produce something from it.
It wasn't a great cross, and I think there was a handball involved there, but his arm was right in against his body. It came from very, very close, so I don't think there was any chance the referee was going to give a penalty kick there, and neither was the VAR.
Players continued, so despite the VAR officials, Peter Banks' VAR today, he hasn't chosen to hold up the play or ask any further questions. Bring Chris Kavanagh over to the far side for the screen. So in that case, play goes on, and Manchester United here have a free kick. 9 minutes played, 0-0. If you thought Newcastle's wait for a trophy was an incredibly long one, 70 years before that League Cup final win over Liverpool, their wait to do the double over Manchester United even longer. 1930-31, the last time they beat Manchester United home and away in a single season. Mazraoui, goalless as it is here, Cher steps in, Isak wins his header, Guimaraes is trying to race onto it, Yoro clears it out towards this near side, Manchester United's right, and then Joe Linton will hold off Garnacho. That's Brazil against Argentina there, and Brazil comes out on top because Argentina's committed the foul.
It's funny when you watch Joe Linton up against most players and they try to, muscle them off the ball. I mean, why bother? It's not going to happen. It's so powerful. And Garnacho there was swatted away like a fly.
So it has given Newcastle United a free kick on the left-hand side, midway inside Manchester United's territory.
This is exactly the position that Manchester United were lining up beforehand when I was talking about before the game. They expected a lot of free kicks from this sort of area. Trippier usually get great delivery alongside obviously Harvey Barnes as well, but they have worked really hard on this. See if it pays off.
So free kick from the left with Trippier, right-footed, swings it into the penalty area. Bayındır made the early call and catches it with two hands raised above his head. That's a good take from the Turkish goalkeeper.
Doesn't look spooked, does he? He looks really comfortable coming out there. He's a very tall goalkeeper as well, but he came out, no fuss whatsoever, none of this punching, and he just comes out, takes it, clasps it, and then doesn't make any kind of big panic about it. Calms everyone down around him. He's not lacking in confidence in himself, and I think we've seen that already with the balls at his feet as well, because he has been calm with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, He's dealt with that pressure now. Nick Pope's got to be calm with the ball at his feet. The Newcastle goalkeeper distributes it out towards the right-hand side under some pressure from Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester United then muscle Guimaraes off the ball with Eriksen. It's then rotated into Xerxes. Gets it back and shoots with Nick Pope's right hand parrying it over the bar for a Manchester United corner. That was quick and slick from Manchester United, but no end product with the goal. Still 0-0. United corner on the far side.
Delicious football. Eriksen winning the ball back again. Plays exactly the right ball. But the little flick turn by Xerxes when the ball's played in, it's a little back heel flick turn, looking the other way, gets a 1-2 back from Fernandes. Everything about that move was brilliant, but he just couldn't finish it, and it's a very good save by Pope.
Good reaction save. Xerxes slapped his hands on his head immediately afterwards, knows that was a good chance. Manchester United corner far side taken short by Bruno Fernandes to Eriksen, comes back in and then skips its way along the ground. Nick Pope has to dive down to his right hand post just to prevent it sneaking in, but he does so rather comfortably. And whether Fernandes meant that as a shot or a little skipping ball in the box to try and tee someone on the end of it, we'll never know. 0-0. The biggest chance so far is that of Manchester United and Joshua Zirkzee. Newcastle United trying to respond here with Jacob Murphy on the far right hand side touchline, gets to within 10 yards of the byline, then plays it back down the right hand channel. Here's Guimaraes onto the edge of the centre circle for Dan Burn. 5 live from St James's Park and the BBC World Service this afternoon. Here comes the low cross in, right across the 6-yard box. Barnes with the delivery in low, and neither Isak or the likes of Guimaraes are there, and Manchester United are able to clear.
Yeah, but that Livramento-Barnes partnership is phenomenal. Livramento always wants to play 1-2s with him. He never stops running. On this occasion, it was Barnes that made the run. Very unlucky to no one the end of it.
Livramento again using shares space well. Here's Jacob Murphy on the right hand side, gets towards the right corner of the penalty area. Newcastle United building here. Cross comes in, it's deep, it's caught by Altay Bayindir. We're off to Wembley. Aaron Paul.
Birmingham 0, Peterborough 2. This has turned into a real scrappy affair, but I'll tell you what, Rocky Allsop, the Birmingham goalkeeper, what heroics from him. A quick fire double save first on Ricky J. Jones, lost his foot in a close range, and then quick up to beat away Abraham Odo's shot. The boy at Birmingham fan has kept this score down, but as mentioned, this is like a ship on the sea, swinging left and right this time. Birmingham 0, Peterborough 2, 9 minutes plus added on to go.
Aaron, thank you. Birmingham City, champions of League One now. That was confirmed over the weekend, but they won't be champions of the Football League trophy. Now that looks like it's heading to Peterborough United and Darren Ferguson's side. 0-0 here at St James's Park between Newcastle United and Manchester United, with Bayindir on the edge of his 6-yard box in possession. 2 Newcastle players go and pressurise him. Dan Burn clips it back towards Isak, who takes a steadying touch, then faces the goal and lifts it towards the back post. Nobody there in a black and white shirt. It was not too far away from Guimaraes, but it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Makes that control look so easy, doesn't it? Isak, phenomenal control there, gets it wide and just puts it into an area there he would like to be in. Fortunately, he's not there because he's playing the pass, but it's a really good ball in there between the centre backs, the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper didn't come for it, but I don't think it was an opportunity for it to come for it. Now, I wonder the Manchester United fans are a long way back behind Bayindir, aren't they? But I think they like what they've seen so far. A real no-nonsense comfort about his start to this game. He's under a lot of pressure today. He's not showing it yet.
Certainly hasn't. Dan Burn wins his header on the halfway line. Yeah, those Manchester United fans are a long way from their goalkeeper. High up in one of these 2 looming stands that you can see as you drive across the River Tyne bridges. The stadium stands like a cathedral in the city centre. Lenny Yoro on the halfway line. 0-0 in a Premier League game that so often produces a classic. Here's Lindelof to Mazraoui on the right-hand side. Dallo comes in at support, then slips, and Livramento can just poke the ball from underneath him. Good recovery from Manuel Ugarte on the slide, and he's given a free kick here, Chris Kavanagh, and a yellow card to Manuel Ugarte. Did seem that he poked the ball away, but whether he's come through behind, and that's what the referee's seen. Either way, Newcastle were going to get a set piece from it. The free kick is what Chris Kavanagh has given.
Ugarte had to make the tackle right, so if he doesn't get the ball, he's got to get the player there. and I don't think he gets the ball at all. I mean, he's only millimetres away there, but I mean, a defender of that level knows, if I'm not going to get the ball, I'm going to get the player. And I think the yellow card's probably the right thing. It's quite early to get a yellow card, but correct decision there. But once again, the break from Livramento on left-hand side, he just gallops forward every time he gets the chance. Very, very dangerous. But a mistake from Man United has left a little half chance here for Newcastle.
Well, Ligarte turns 24 on Friday. That wasn't the birthday card he was expecting. Into the book he goes. After 16 minutes here at an overcast St James's Park. Free kick in Newcastle. Almost level with the left corner at the penalty area, but kind of in between box and touchline. Trippier right-footed. That's sent high, hurling towards the back post. And behind for a goal kick. Let's head to Bahrain. Latest on the F1, Harry Benjamin.
It's lap 27 of 57. Oscar Piastri continues to lead this Grand Prix from pole position. He's 6 seconds clear of George Russell, and then it's Charles Leclerc in third after the first pit stops. It feels like this race is swinging now towards the Ferrari drivers, but it's still very much Piastri who holds firm at the top. Lando Norris is fourth.
Commentary of that continues on 5 Sports Extra. Harry, thank you. Exciting F1 season. Oscar Piastri will become the first man to win 2 races this season if he holds on to the lead in Bahrain. Another Manchester United goal kick. You missed nothing here at St James's Park. 0-0 on a pitch that is looking in pretty good condition, but I bet it's nowhere near as good as the greens at the Masters for the final round of the Masters tournament. Rory McIlroy, you'll hear every shot of his on BBC Radio 5 Live from 7:30 tonight. He's trying to become only the 6th man in golf history to win a career Grand Slam is Rory McIlroy, the Northern Irishman. And Mark Chapman and the team will have coverage of that from 7:30 tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
I'm not usually the jealous type, but I am slightly jealous of Alistair Bruce Ball at this point in time, being over there for what could be one of the great evenings.
It's a tough gig he's got, isn't it? Out towards the far side, Manchester United in possession. Holding off Newcastle United here. In fact, there's still the biggest chance is that of Joshua Zirkzee when he played a quick 1-2 with Fernandes inside the penalty area. Then Nick Pope had to parry it over the bar. Trippier's got a little bit of defending to do. That actually does really well. Timed his header, nudged it past Bruno Fernandes. Then on the stretch, manages to send it back to his goalkeeper Nick Pope, who goes long himself. Lenny Yoro can easily collect that, take his time and go back to Altay Bayındır. Away to our left-hand side in a lime green Manchester United outfit. The goalkeeper in place of Andre Onana, who has been given some time to rest and disconnect. They were the words of Manchester United club sources to the BBC. That's a lovely spinning ball from Joshua Zirkzee off the top of his boot. Eriksson was trying to get on the end of it, racing forward. Tonali, I think, was back there for Newcastle doing the defending on that instant. Their number 8, Lenny Yoro, back to Bayındır again.
Rest and connect. Right, just say it. He's dropped. And that's the way it is, and it's, you can deal with it. You're a big boy. Deal with it. You've not been playing that well. Just get yourself back in shape again if you can possibly do that. However, he needs to get beyond Bayındır, and Bayındır hasn't put a foot or a glove wrong yet.
Amorim in his pre-match comments to Sky this afternoon said sometimes you have to push the player to play again. Sometimes you have to let him disconnect a little bit. Tomorrow he'll be in training and preparing for the next one, which is Lyon. So it was a good time for Andre to disconnect. The words of Ruben Amorim. Do you think he'll be back on Thursday?
Oh, depends what happens today. And Bayındır looks comfortable. If he's not made a mistake yet. If he makes an error or he looks shaky at any point, then there'll be no question about it, and I know he'll be back. But at the moment, tough decision he's got to make. That's the problem with Ruben Amorim, or one of the many problems he's had over the period of time he's beaten United. He's made so many decisions about so many players, but nothing much is working yet, and to the level that he needs to work to be the Manchester United or a successful Manchester United manager.
And the Manchester United manager, currently in his grey chinos and his black hoodie, is on his haunches here on the edge of his technical area. He's a poser, Amorim. He loves, I feel, like a camera shot, so they'll get him on his haunches here. He's a pacer as well of his technical area. Very rarely stands still when he is upright. Right now still on bended knee as Newcastle United play a long ball over towards this near side there left. Dallow in the right back position heads it. Livramento's on the recovery though, and here is Harvey Barnes with a little pass square in field to Joe Linton. Joe Linton keeps it going once more over to Guimaraes, who floats it back post for Trippier, tries to keep it in. Calm with a little skip in the air, and Manchester United will have a goal kick.
Just a bit of a waste there. I mean, Trippier makes this flying run forward, but didn't need to. If he'd have stayed static, the ball would have been played to him. One touch, he really put a cross in. But he ran behind the defender, made it a difficult ball to play, which he wasn't able to play there. So, a good opportunity for Newcastle, didn't manipulate it well.
Ruben Amorim certainly trying to get his instructions across during this goal kick. The boozer for the delay from Altay Bayindir, who isn't a rush to take this away to our left-hand side, almost midway through the first half. He could also, Ruben Amorim, if he wants to turn on 38-year-old Tom Heaton, who's on the bench as a substitute goalkeeper this afternoon for Manchester United. Turns 39 in a couple of days as well, the former Aston Villa and Burnley shot stopper. Jacob Murphy in from the right-hand side. Guimaraes, right-footed cross in towards Isak. Downward header! And wide of the left-hand post behind for a goal kick, and Altay Bayindir was certainly sprawling across his goal for that one.
Got into a great position. I mean, just a few moments ago they should have got in a position to put that cross in. Finally they did there. I'm just trying to see if he was offside. No, it was pretty close, but he heads it down. Not a lot of pace in the ball, so he's tried to get a lot of action on it. Couldn't quite get it enough.
Guimaraes, right-hand side by the byline, gets the cross in, but doesn't get past the first man in Bruno Fernandes, who intercepts, then tries to go long. Burn steps in before Garnacho would have been free on the right-hand side. Here's Livramento, and Xerxes and Dallow with him, tries to poke it in between the pair of them, and Ugarte is there to intercept the ball. They're into stoppage time at Wembley, Aaron Paul.
They are indeed 11 of those minutes to be played. Peterborough hunting to retain the EFL trophy, but Birmingham City have offered nothing in this second half. Jay Stansfield has seen an effort ruled out for offside. It was always going to be offside.
It's 1-0 to Newcastle United. Lovely volley on his 50th appearance for the Magpies. He's fired it in, drilled it in low to the bottom left-hand corner across goal, and Newcastle United at last have the breakthrough against Manchester United. They lead by a goal to 0.
What a brilliant goal. I mean, Newcastle thought they'd lost it there, got possession back again, but something happened in this ground. There was a roar as if to say, get on with it, move quicker, and they did. They zipped it into Isak. His first touch, flicks it up, clips it over the top of the defender. On comes Sandro Tonali and melts it into the back corner really well. Nothing the goalkeeper can do. So there's an assist there, I'm sure it is, by Alexander Isak. I'll tell you what, there's an assist from this crowd as well.
Newcastle won the ball back off Manchester United midway inside the Reds' half, and a lovely ball over the top which Tonali just latched onto with his right foot.
I mean, it's a great goal, and we'll talk about the goal a lot, but the assist, really, that's just outrageous. I mean, there's some great players out there in the Premier League. I just don't know how many people would have thought of that. The ball's played into him, he flicks it up, and then he touches it with such delicacy over the defender. And the thing is, Tonali knows the quality that Isak's got, so he makes the move and finishes it off. What a beautiful move. Just earlier, United had a great move themselves. However, we've got to finish them. Newcastle have.
One for match of the day too tonight, certainly. I don't know what is better, the assist from Isak or the goal and the finish from Tonali. Either way, it keeps Newcastle's hunt for the Champions League going. And Manchester City and Aston Villa have both won this weekend. Newcastle knew the pressure would be on. They got 2 games in hand over the likes of Nottingham Forest and Chelsea, and they are winning. And by the end of the week, they could be as high as 3rd in the Premier League. And now the momentum is with the Magpies. And Tonali, the goal scorer, just steps away from Bruno Guimaraes. Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 0. 25 minutes played at St James's Park, and some more thinking for Ruben Amorim to do. In fact, thinking for the Manchester United defence, because here comes Murphy in on the right-hand side. The cross is poor. He'll reset those. The ball bounces out to him on the left-hand side. Tries to pull it back. Ugarte in the way before Guimaraes this time. And now Bruno Fernandes shows a little bit of composure to move away from the Italian of Sandro Tonali. And Manchester United up to the halfway line with Diogo Dalot.
Yeah, see how Manchester United react to it, and also how Newcastle United react to it as well. There's been a few times this season, even at this round, they've gone ahead and then have started thinking about it slightly too much. They've slowed down, they've tried to hold on to what they've got. Newcastle have to keep on playing the way we've been playing the last 5 or 10 minutes. It's been lively, sharp, the fans are up for it. While they're ahead there and while they've got the foot on the gas, they shouldn't take it off, get a second goal and good control of the game after that.
So Manchester United men behind at St James's Park. What about Manchester United women into stoppage time in their FA Cup semi-final, Emily Herbert? We'll go back with Emily shortly. They are into stoppage time at the Joy Stadium. Manchester City women 0, Manchester United women 2, the last we heard. As Newcastle here have a free kick on the right-hand side. They are 1-0 up against Manchester United, courtesy of Sandro Tonali. Free kick is what? 20 yards or so, 25 yards inside the Manchester United half on the right-hand side. Murphy's gone quickly to try and catch the defence off guard. Bruno Fernandes on the right-hand side of the penalty area has to react quickly. Isak was trying to get ahead of him, and it is going to be a corner to Newcastle on that far side.
He's just always thinking, isn't he? And thinking in an intelligent way, and he's thinking outside the box. And Isak there almost gets in there. Manchester United has slightly turned off and managed to just only give away a corner there. And that's the thing that Newcastle should be doing. Do not sit back. Keep on playing. Use the advantage if you possibly can. Because at the moment, Manchester United are shaking.
Short corner from Newcastle on the right-hand side. It's used Murphy. It's now used Livramento. Tonali encouraged to shoot, and he'll invite that on! And just wide of the right-hand post. It was a dipping shot, which was only just wide of Altay Bayendia's post.
What are they doing, the Manchester United defence? Tonali gets the ball 35 yards out. There's 5 players on the 18-yard line. Right, who's going to go and close them down? Absolutely nobody moves. You just stay static. You cannot do that. You should be a wall chasing towards that. Tonali couldn't quite get it on target, but that's very poor defending in that moment.
Let's go to the Joy Stadium. Get the latest from Emily Herbert.
Yeah, United still leading 2-0 against City. We're over the extra time now. It's just petered out here though. Momentum shifting. City losing that energy they started this half with, but those 2 first half strikes from United might be enough to send them to a 3rd straight FA Cup final. We've got just a minute really left. It's City 0, United 2.
Emily, thank you. We'll update you when that gets to full time as well. Lenny Yoro just stops the ball dead at his feet for a moment and then plays it back to Lindelof. Just thinking about Tonali being allowed the space there. Do you think Manchester United are so paranoid about what Alexander Isak can do and almost has done in this game as well?
Partially, but you can't have 5 players waiting to mark him. And also, are they worried about their goalkeeper? Well, if you're worried about him, don't make sure that they're closed down. They don't put them under that pressure. Manchester United didn't do any of themselves any justice there, and they didn't help their goalkeeper either.
Joelinton, ball down the middle, space opens up for Guimaraes, who tries to feed it in behind Alexander Isak, who stops his run, collects the ball and looks for Murphy on the right hand side. Ball somehow finds him, takes a deflection off a Manchester United player in the process of doing so. Here's Trippier. Guimaraes on the stretch in the right corner of the penalty area far side. It's quick interchanges for Newcastle United that don't come off on this occasion. Half an hour played, leading by a goal to 0. And here's Bruno Fernandes, who tried to find Dalot on the edge of the centre circle. Ball actually ended up hitting Manuel Ugarte. Because Fernandes was caught late, Manchester United have a free kick.
There's just a little lovely moment there that Newcastle got the ball in the midfield. Isak made a brilliant run. However, there was no space between him and the defenders. So what they do is they batter it. They zip it into his feet. They don't play in front. They don't throw a pass. They zip it into his feet because they know he, as much as any other player in the Premier League, can deal with it, can control it, get it out of his feet and do something with it. He's a very, very special talent, Isak.
Bayindir will face the pressure of Isak, who just made the wrong judgment of what Bayindir was doing in the Battle of the Mind Games and the pressure there, so that's allowed him to clear it away. Dalot trying to break away from Joe Linton's done well to hold off the Brazilian there. Uses Garnacho right hand side, squares it to Fernandez, timed his shot, and then the ball just squeezes away from the stretch leg of Joshua Zirkzee inside the penalty area, and now Amas has the ball played off him, so that's gone for a Newcastle United throw-in. It is all over at the Joy Stadium. Emily Herbert.
And Manchester United are heading back to Wembley with the chance to defend their title. They are through to a third consecutive FA Cup final after beating Manchester City by 2-0. A dominant first half display with Salim Bizet and Grace Clinton getting the goals that made the difference. City's injury nightmare continues though. Striker Mary Fowler forced off, clutching her knee, but truthfully they were outplayed by their neighbours today. It's a repeat of the 22-23 final as United prepare to face Chelsea once again at Wembley. Full time, Manchester City 0, Manchester United 2.
Thanks, Emily. A tricky, mazy run from Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side. It was an overstep too many, and the ball found its way into the hands of Altay Bayindir.
You know, suddenly Harvey Barnes just tried too hard there, tried too much. I wonder if that's the end got to do with the guy who's warming up about 10 yards away from him behind him. Anthony Gordon, he's got his place just now, but he'll be breathing down his neck.
Anthony Gordon back in and amongst the Newcastle substitutes, back in a black and white shirt for the first time since February after that hip injury.
Also that sending off, and a stupid sending off. And you missed out a cup final because of it, which was absolute madness to do that, but just almost as bad as that, because you've missed one of the great days in Newcastle United's history, but you've kind of lost your place as well. Tells you need to watch out for silly bookings.
Harvey Barnes scored on Monday night. He's playing well today on the left-hand side for Newcastle, who lead by a 0-0 on 5 Live Sport. Live from St James's Park as Newcastle's press is holding Manchester United in on the edge of their defensive third here, and they've won it back as well. Midway inside Manchester United's territory. Joe Linton, edge of the centre circle now with Ugarte all over the back of him. Is able to use that big frame and turn well up towards the penalty area. How's that ball bouncing for Guimaraes? Just slides it out towards the left-hand side for Barnes. Livramento on the overlap. He'll clip it towards the back post, and Isak takes the shot that is saved by a sprawling Bayindir, who had to react quickly once the ball had been pulled past him on the edge of the penalty area. And Isak's shot saw Bayindir match him.
So many good things in that move. Like the save is absolutely brilliant, but Isak, he's so calm, he doesn't panic at all. Ball comes to him at an incredible angle, volley on target, but even the build up to it, the understanding mentioned before between Barnes and Livramento, superb.
Here come Newcastle again. Tonali, edge of the penalty area, slides it into Isak. The touch is good, rounds Bayindir, but he's too wide on the left hand side, so he stands it up onto the edge of the goal line almost. Lindelof was just a passenger, eventually seen behind for a Newcastle corner.
Right, did I see Manchester United were hanging on? Right, they're clinging on by their fingertips. They're under so much pressure. A lot of it is Isak every time the ball comes to him. He just has such beautiful control there. And that ball took back into the middle there once he crossed it over. Anyone there at all, and it's the easiest tap in the world. Manchester United lucky again.
Just getting replays of Bayindir's double save. Livramento's cross save, parried out by Bayindir, who then had to sprawl quickly to save from Isak. Corner far side to Newcastle, right-footed drifting from Trippier towards the back post. Joe Linton can't connect his header, so the ball runs out of the box on the near side. Harvey Barnes races towards it, then right-footed, good curling ball, header onto the roof of the net from Dan Burn. And I think he might have been given an offside anyway, but the referees allowed that to go to a goal kick to Manchester United. But that was such an inviting ball from Harvey Barnes.
It was. He thought about shooting, but I think he did the right thing there, just cull it into the back area. But there's so much happening in this game, but what we do notice for the last 15 minutes or so, Manchester United's lively-ish start, it's really fell away now. And since the goal, it is totally different now. Newcastle have had the right attitude, they've kept going. They've not got their manager on the side, but they know how to do it.
It's all over at Wembley. Silverware for who, Aaron Paul?
For Peterborough United, they've retained the EFL trophy. Birmingham 0, Posh 2 after first half strikes from Harley Mills and Hector Cipriano had them comfortable for the majority of the time. Birmingham offered little on the day, but this day belongs to the Posh. Tactically brilliant, picking up their third EFL trophy title. Birmingham 0, Peterborough 2 from Wembley.
Thanks, Aaron. As Newcastle come down the right hand side, it is cleared away by Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United, trailing the Reds by a goal to nil. Ruben Amorim back down on his haunches once again. Third worst points record of any Manchester United manager to have managed over 20 games as well. Crossing from Murphy, right hand side. It was about to get a lot worse than it looked like. Isak was making moves. Manchester United have managed to sort that out at the back. Clearing up towards the edge of the centre circle with Xerxes, who pokes a foot at it, but that's about as far as Manchester United are getting right now. Edge of the centre circle, and then Newcastle regain control.
It is, but it is only 1-0 just now, and they need to hang on to that, Manchester United, and make some use of these breaks.
Maybe one like this. Dalot coming down the middle, Garnacho to his right hand side, takes a touch in the penalty area and then slides it into the bottom left hand corner. Manchester United are level in a game of so few attacks for the Reds. They broke away with Diogo Dalot, and Garnacho in off the left-hand post makes it Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1.
Sucker punch, absolute sucker punch, and because Livramento had flown forward, there was a gap for Garnacho to make good use of it. He did, he got into there, huge amount still to do there. Goalkeeper slows him down, but he just calmly passes it into the net there. The Newcastle have been very brave. They keep on going for one at the back, but that was not the right time to do it. We'll have a look if there's any offside. Nah, not offside for me, that one. And for Garnacho, lovely little pass into the far corner. Might have gone through the defender's legs there as he came across. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. Dan Burn maybe diving in there. 1-1. They were clinging on. They managed to cling on long enough to get a chance. 1-1.
That goal couldn't have been any further away for the Manchester United fans, who are up and away to our left-hand side. A little strip of the top tier that they get here at St James's Park, of that huge looming stand that looks right across the city in Newcastle. All of them turned to jaunt with the Newcastle fans, who are level with them at the top of that stand. But in a game, a few chances for Manchester United, and they have taken their opportunity. They are level, and that's just a little dint to Newcastle United's hopes of getting a Champions League spot, but they're going to try and respond quickly here with Murphy down the right-hand side. Cross comes off a sliding Harry Amas, so Newcastle United instantly have a corner on the far side.
Yeah, it's a 1-1, but this doesn't look like a game it should end 1-1. There's too many chances, it's too open, which is a great thing for the neutral, not that there are too many in here. But Newcastle must be kicking themselves. They could have been 3-0 up easily before losing that goal.
So Newcastle versus Manchester United is likely to finish as a draw. In drifts that corner. Altai Bayındır claws at it. Joe Linton snatches a shot. Newcastle United haven't had a draw in any of their last 16 games, but they are level against Ruben Amorim's side. Now, what was that from Joe Linton? That was a wild shot with his right boot that span well away from the penalty area and out towards the far side. So Oscar Piastri going for that second win of the season. How's it looking, Harry Benjamin?
Still holding on to it even after a safety car restart. He's got pressure from George Russell behind, but I think the Australian has it. It's Lando Norris who's doing the most fighting action though, trying to get himself onto the podium and fighting with Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. He's just managed to get ahead of his British compatriot. Norris up to fourth.
Harry, thank you. Commentary continues on 5 Sports Extra right now. Harry Amas has taken a knock there. Newcastle United have won a corner.
I mean, many a referee would have given a free kick there. He was nudged slightly, but the ache is because he went straight into Dan Burn. And Dan Burn didn't foul. He was just standing there.
Like a tree, Dan Burn, isn't he? Corner far side, Trippier right-footed, again drifting towards the back post, met by Isak, who was lining up the volley. I don't know whether he properly connected with that, but now it's his turn to try and set one up. Lifts the cross in. Harvey Barnes was lurking. Lenny Yoro sees it away. Header back forward by Livramento to the right corner of the penalty area. Far side for Newcastle. Goes out for a Manchester United throw. 5 minutes from half-time. It's 1-1.
That was good defending there. That's the question of whether Isak caught it. I think he caught it perfectly. But the block was magnificent. I had to be brave there to block inside. Isak's on fire today. By the way, another player is on fire. Dan Burn looks as he looks incredible today. I mean, he's obviously a very good player for Newcastle all the time, but he has grown steadily, obviously since that famous header at Wembley, also becoming an international, also playing, I think, in his favoured left centre-back position. I think he's better there, but he's all over the park today, and he looks as if he wants to go and win this game on his own.
Certainly does. It's Newcastle here being held level, one apiece. Manchester United's first Premier League game without Andre Onana in goal since May 2023. They were behind in that game as well against Fulham, and they ended up winning by 2-1. Bruno Fernandes with the winner that day, incidentally. Jadon Sancho also on the score sheet for Manchester United in that victory. Newcastle United on the near side left have won a corner. Won a throw in by the corner flag deep inside the Manchester United half with 4 minutes to half time. We'll bring you some reaction at the break as well from the earlier kickoffs in the Premier League. Chelsea coming from 2-0 down to draw with Ipswich 2 apiece. Newcastle won a corner here. Dalot clearing it away. Liverpool needed a late Virgil van Dijk winner to beat West Ham 2-1. Wolves, I mean, they were looking safe anyway, but have secured that now probably with everything but the mats, beating Spurs by 4-2. So Newcastle corner, near side the left. Everybody gathering towards the back post here. Trippier has floated a few in deep so far. A bit of pushing and shoving as well. So as Trippier struck the ball, the referee's going to say that'll be retaken.
You don't want to give the goalkeeper anything here, because he's been confident so far. There's been maybe one little flap at a cross, but if they're going to put it on top of him, Newcastle should do it with a little bit of pace and ask him a question.
So again, Kieran Trippier will set again for this corner on the left-hand side for Jason Tyndall's side this afternoon. Newcastle United assistant manager in charge in the dugout with Eddie Howe resting up in hospital.
Euro's just pushed him over. That's stupid.
The referee hadn't blown for the corner to be taken. Yoro is booked.
No argument.
But no penalty will be given.
No argument there whatsoever. I mean, you can see lots of some. You can grab a little bit, you can shove a little bit. You don't just walk over and push somebody over. That's what Yoro did there. No argument at all. That's a yellow card.
I was letting them know you're there, then there's literally letting them know you're there. So Yoro into the book. Right, third time of asking. Kieran Trippier's corner from the left-hand side for Newcastle United. He slips as he takes the corner that floats up to the back post. It's headed on that far side, but behind from Bruno Guimaraes. Manchester United goal kick.
They are quite spooked, Manchester United, about corners and free kicks getting put into the box, and no wonder. I mean, you've got Cher coming up there, you've got Big Dan Burn coming up there, Izak's good, Joe Linton's going to attack the ball as well. They're a big, strong physical side, but also actually good in the air. There's lots of big, strong lads. I'm not sure, even though he scored with a header during the week, I'm not sure Xerxes absolutely phenomenal as a defensive header of the ball, even though he's a big lad. But that's something that's obviously very, very fearful for Manchester United.
Xerxes wins that header 10 yards or so inside the Newcastle half. Ball then goes out of play for Newcastle, throwing far side there right. And we're still looking as agitated as he has through the majority of this game. The Reds' boss, as he tries to shout over to Mazraoui, who's the closest man to him. So we'll get all the shouts from Ruben Amorim. Cleared away by Cher. Isak will chase it down. Lindelof wants his goalkeeper to come. He was indicating for it. And in the end, the Swedish centre-back had to step in and make his own decision.
I'm with the keeper there. Bandor, come if you know you're going to get it. See, if you don't know, you don't come.
That's nice by Manchester United. They've worked themselves out of a real tricky situation. And Garnacho, left-hand side, fires it in again twice, actually. And Pope makes the save. It runs to Dalot on the right, who initially wanted the ball. Garnacho's first cross was blocked, so he had a second go at it and caused problems for Nick Pope. Manchester United outside the box with Ugarte, who has that encouragement to shoot if he wants. There was space, they were standing off him. Now moves to the right, gets the cross in, but it's blocked by Harvey Barnes. At the first time of asking, he gives Manchester United a throw-in on this near side.
They're rarely out of their own half, Manchester United, in the last 15-20 minutes, but see when they are, they're dangerous. Very dangerous indeed. Xerxes got an absolutely gorgeous touch in the ball, but it's the pace of Garnacho and the intelligence, obviously, of Bruno Fernandes that are the major dangers here.
Dalot's backed away towards the advertising boards here, which suggests a long throw in. 2 minutes of added time has gone up from the fourth official in towards the near post, headed back from where it came, and so it's going to be another Manchester United throw, which Diogo Dalot is preparing to take once again. Now, is it the same as before, or will he switch things up again?
It's a big ask, isn't it? Because you get Dan Burn right in front of.
Yeah, not only is the problem beating the first man, it's then getting it past Dan Burn as Dalot gets a deep crossing which Burn meets on the header and sends it away from the box. Eriksen's first on the recovery, nudges it back into his own half on the volley, which Mazraoui can take in his own time and give back to Bayindir, who right-footed sends the ball back into the Newcastle United half. Dan Burn wins that header.
He wants to win everything, doesn't he? Every time the ball's anywhere, it doesn't matter if it's left back, right back, anywhere along the back line, corners, for and against. Big Dan's going for them all.
Well, he's got a head start, a literal head start on many people. But it is very similar to where Dalot's just had those last couple of throw-ins, so I expect this one to go into the penalty area again. Victor Lindelof's made his way forward here. Xerxes, the man in the red shirt at the near post. Yoro now strides into the penalty area, so Dalot has wiped the ball, launches it from the edge of the touchline. Nick Pope made the early call, the right call, and clutches it at the chest height, then dives to the floor. Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1, and there isn't too much time left of added time at the end of this first half. Can Newcastle United find perhaps one last charge down the field? Trippier tries to slide in Jacob Murphy, and it was past the outstretched leg of the right winger in Newcastle, so Manchester United has sent it back to Bayindir, and that will be that for the first half. Well, Newcastle's goal was sumptuous. Isak with a lovely lifted assist on the volley, cushioned over for Tonali, the smack in on the volley. But Manchester United have threatened on the counter and got a goal of their own that way. Garnacho right at the penalty area, slid it in off the post on the left-hand side of the goal, and Newcastle's charge to the Champions League is currently being stalled by a Manchester United side who have bigger fish to fry in 5 days' time in the Europa League. At the break, Newcastle 1, Manchester United 1.
Yeah, but I think Newcastle United will be going very, very disappointed just now. They had large parts of the game. They had very, very good chances as well. There was a period there where they could have actually put the big game to bed. Didn't manage to do it. And Manchester United have shown a bit of resilience in the last 10 minutes or so, and they do look very dangerous on the break. So, of the two managers, I was going to say Eddie Howe, well, wherever he is watching and listening just now, Eddie will be disappointed, as will Jason Tyndall. But Ruben Amorim, I think he'll be delighted that he's going to 1-1.
As it stands, it's enough to get Newcastle up to 6th in the Premier League, but they're still behind Chelsea and Manchester City and Forest in this race for the highest competition in European football next season. Their fight will go on in the second half. At the break, Steve, 1-1.
Yeah, Sandro Tonali is so special, Pat, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. I'm going to go on about the assist, because I thought Isak was extraordinary assist. I mean, he runs there and he goes beyond players, but you only do that run or make that run if you know you've got a quality player who will find you with something extraordinary. So yeah, well done Tonali, getting into the area, calm, finishes it brilliantly. That is what he's very, very special at. So yeah, he is special, but you got to give someone to put it on a plate for you. And Alexander Isak done exactly that. There's a lot of talk about Isak not scoring as many lately. Doesn't matter who scores the goal in the end. It's the fact that you actually get the goals, and Isak has been very, very special today. But as a group, Joe Linton, Tonali, and Guimaraes as well, they work okay together. I just think there's more to come for them. Today, they'll utterly bossed that midfield, all three of them. And all three of them, like the rest of the Newcastle fans and the manager and the assistant manager, will be gutted that they're not ahead right now.
Pat, Mike, thank you both for the time being. Newcastle and Manchester United level at 1 apiece, half-time, second half commentary to come. Full times in the Premier League. Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2. Jadon Sancho got Chelsea's equaliser. We'll hear from him. Liverpool beat West Ham by 2-1. Liverpool manager Arne Slot on the way. Finished Wolves 4, Tottenham 2. The Wolves boss Vitor Pereira. You'll hear from him. We'll be back to Augusta, and then second half commentary from St James's Park. All after the news with John Barnes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
32 people have been killed in the northeastern Ukrainian city of Sumy in what Kyiv has described as the deadliest strike on the country so far this year. More than 80 people were injured in the attack involving Russian ballistic missiles. Igor Shapoval is head of the Sumy Regional Organisation of the Ukrainian Red Cross Society. Speaking at the scene, he described the emergency operation.
We carried out the wounded. We took the wounded away on stretchers and to hospital. The wounded were of varying degrees of severity, both moderate and severe. But we were not the only ones working. The State Emergency Service was working, the military was working, everyone was helping.
The Labour MP Tulip Siddiq has strongly denied any wrongdoing after officials in Bangladesh said they'd issued a warrant for her arrest. Her lawyers described claims she'd illegally received land from the regime of her aunt, the country's former Prime Minister, as completely false. The Ministry of Justice has said it will carry out a review after 3 prison officers at Franklin Jail in County Durham were injured in an alleged attack by the brother of the Manchester Arena bomber. 2 prison officers remain in hospital. And a man in his 50s has died in what Nottinghamshire police have described as a gas explosion at a terraced house in Worksop last night. Emergency services found his body among the debris. Significant damage was also caused to neighbouring properties.
The Champions League on BBC Radio 5 Live.
On Tuesday at 8.
Aston Villa versus PSG.
And on Wednesday at 8.
Real Madrid versus Arsenal.
And hear all the analysis and reaction on the Football Daily podcast.
The Champions League. Listen live. Ask your smart speaker
to play BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
10 laps to go in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Harry Benjamin is watching.
That 47 of 57, so 10 laps to go, and it's Oscar Piastri who still holds the lead, 4.3 seconds. George Russell, his nearest challenger, is in second. Charles Leclerc rounds out the podium for the time being, but Lando Norris is really piling on the pressure on the Monegasque. Just tried to move down into turn 1, but went too deep, locked up his tyres and went off the track. He'll have to regain that ground and go again as we get in the closing stages of this race. It's going to be a fight to the flag from now.
Live commentary on 5 Sports Extra. Let's go back to Augusta now. Just over, 2 hours until Rory McIlroy will start his final round at the Masters. The pursuit of history will begin on 12 under, 2 shots clear of his playing partner Bryson DeChambeau. Every shot live on 5 Live. Delighted to say we can speak to a real Solheim Cup legend, multiple tour winner Trish Johnson, big part of our commentary team. Afternoon, Trish.
Good afternoon, how are we?
Oh, so good. I mean, not as good as you. I mean, this is going to be special.
Yeah, I hope so. I've been looking forward to this from the end of play yesterday. It's been spine-tingling, really, to think what's at stake and what history could be made today. And the whole team are absolutely flying. They really are. I can't wait for it to start. I hope we're not going to be disappointed, and I hope from Rory's sake, he can come up trumps today, because if he doesn't, I think that might be more of a story. But I've got a really good feeling about today. I just think he's been very different this week. And apart from just a couple of obviously strange mishaps at the end of that first round, mostly short game, he's been sort of imperious from tee to green. And the putter has to behave and he has to get off to a good start. And I'm hoping it's going to be, like I say, quite a day out here at Augusta.
With all the love and respect in the world for correspondent Ian Carter, who we spoke to earlier, I think for elite golfers' mindset, we are coming to the right person in you. So, I mean, there'll be so many things wrapped up in Rory McIlroy's mindset today, won't there?
Yeah, I think so. But, you learn from disappointment, there's no question. And obviously the ultimate disappointment from last year's US Open, I think, is something I said earlier today. Only he will know exactly how he was feeling those last few holes. Obviously 2 very short missed putts, whether he was getting ahead of himself, thinking about lifting that trophy, whether it was just nerves or something different. As I say, this week he's been very subdued, if you like, in his celebration of any birdies. I mean, yesterday was extraordinary. I don't think he cracked a smile all day long, and playing some of the best golf and hitting a couple of iron shots that were just out of this world, but not even a smile when he knocks the putt in for eagle on the the 2 par 5s that he made eagle on. And even coming off 18, as good a round as that was, and the patrons were desperate to cheer him on and get some high fives, there was nothing at all. It was almost as though, I don't know, maybe he did get ahead of himself at the Open, and maybe this is what he needs, the way he needs to feel himself to get the job done today. But he's certainly been very different, and I certainly hope that continues today.
Do you think it helps that it is, with the massive caveat, huge caveat, this is Augusta, anything can happen, but it does feel like everything that is likely to happen will happen between McIlroy and the guy who is playing next to him. So we will see it all transpiring within that one partnership.
Yeah, I think it's very important, to be honest. If I was a McIlroy today, you have a number in your mind. He's 12 under par. I think if he thinks to himself, right, if I just go out and shoot 68, 69, it's perfect conditions here again. If I shoot 68, that makes me 16 under par. Well, if Bryson can beat that, then good on him, basically. And if any other player, no one else is going to get near that number. So, what you don't want to become embroiled in is a match play situation where you're watching what he's doing, what Bryson is doing, and then you're reacting to that, because that then becomes... And if that happened, you never know. Someone like Corey Connors could just sneak under the radar and be involved at the end. But I think don't get involved in a head-to-head with Bryson. Bryson is going to be out there trying to G the crowd up, get them on his side. The interesting thing for me is, and I can't wait to feel what this is like when I'm outside, who do the crowd want to win?
Yeah.
You've got an American who you would think 95% of the crowd would be, be backing. But I don't think it's going to be that way, because I think the history being made if McIlroy wins with his Grand Slam, obviously, and just the whole furor surrounding him winning this tournament, I feel like he's going to be the one that the Americans actually want to come up with to have the green jacket at the end of the day. I could be wrong, but it'll be fascinating to be out there and feel what that atmosphere is like between the players.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of love for Rory McIlroy, as you say, as well. Trish, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
That's Trish Johnson, big part of our commentary team tonight. 7:25, Mark Chapman and the team live from Augusta for the final round of the Masters. You can also watch some of the best shots from round 3 right now on the BBC Sport website. Back to the football. Liverpool are now just 6 points away from a record-equalling 20th top-flight league title. They beat West Ham 2-1 at Anfield this afternoon. Liverpool boss Arne Slot is speaking to Gary Flintoff.
Well, Arne, take me into your mind. When it goes 1-1, what are you thinking? And then less than 3 minutes later, Virgil scores. What are you thinking at that point?
The first thing you think is when the 1-1 goes in, they deserve that goal. Maybe I was not thinking that at that moment, but was of course very unlucky that it was an own goal. And the second thing you think is, I cannot make any substitutions anymore, and I just took Mo Salah off. Was that a smart decision? But so many times when we brought Wata in, we simply didn't concede anymore, so that was the reason to do so. But I underestimated maybe again the 11 players that were on the pitch, because what a mentality they showed. Such a difficult second half, then conceding with an own goal. You expect, maybe 1-1 is the most we can get out of this game now. But I underestimated the players, because they stood up, created the first chance, got a corner kick, scored, and won the game.
It sort of felt at the start it was Mo Salah day, if you will. I think Alisson had a good claim as the game went on, and ended up being Virgil van Dijk's day.
Yeah, and maybe not a coincidence that 3 of our big players that have won the league here already. I think these are also the first players you look at to stand up in difficult moments, and it's not a difficult moment on itself. It's been 32 times a difficult moment, because every game is difficult for us. But last part of the season, you're so many points clear. Of course, there's a bit of tension around the place, so you want your players that have done so much for the club to stand up, and that's what Mo, Virgil and Ali definitely did today.
Arne Slot speaking to Gary Flintoff. 08085 909 693. Lines open for 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Robbie, good afternoon. What's on your agenda today? There's lots to get into.
Yeah, there certainly is, Steve. Obviously, Liverpool, was it 13 points clear now? What a great character to win that game. So the title's theirs. They're not going to lose it from here. Wolves, what a job the manager's done. 4-2 against Spurs. Wow. how big a week is this for Ange Postecoglou? That return game 1-1 in Europe. It's a huge week for Manchester United. Also, Steve, currently 1-1 at Newcastle. Chelsea missed a chance today, home to Ipswich. What a result for Ipswich. Chelsea missing that chance to climb the table. The race for the top four is on, and Peterborough beating Birmingham in the EFL Trophy. What a win it was for Peterborough. Birmingham could have done the double after claiming the championship at the weekend. On Tuesday, I think it was. So again, what a day in sport. And then we got the golf, Steve. Looking forward to the golf. I think we're off a bit early tonight in 6:06, but get the calls in 08 085 909 693.
Great stuff, Rob. Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
Mate.
Robbie
Cheers, mate.
Savage with Chris Sutton for 6:06 08085 909 693. The lines are open. The title in Scotland, they're not won just yet. 10-man Rangers scored a stoppage time equaliser to draw 2-2 at Aberdeen. Had they not done so, Celtic would have been champions today. The other game, third place Hibs beat Dundee by 4-0 in the Women's Six Nations. Big win for Italy. Scotland 17, Italy 25 in the Champions Cup quarter-finals. Toulouse victorious after extra time, 21-18 over Toulon. In Super League, it finished Huddersfield 18, Catalan 38. So that's 7 defeats from 7 for Huddersfield. And it's been boat race day on the Thames. Cambridge won both the men's and women's races. Almost time for the second half at St James's Park. Back to Bahrain first of all. Harry Benjamin.
That 52-57, Oscar Piastri leads George Russell, but Mark Priestley, we've just seen a fantastic fight between Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris.
Yeah, and it's put Lando Norris up into the podium positions in P3. That battle's been raging for quite some time, but it's Lando that's got the better of it, now chasing down the Mercedes of George Russell.
There's also some issues for George Russell potentially with technical problems on board his Mercedes. He's 9 seconds adrift of the leader, Oscar Piastri.
Live commentary right now on 5 Sports Extra. 2 of the football stories for you. Peterborough have won the EFL Trophy, 2-0 winners over Birmingham City at Wembley. And Manchester United will be in the Women's FA Cup final. They will face Chelsea after a 2-0 victory over Manchester City at the Joy Stadium in the semi-final this afternoon. You are bang up to date. Second half commentary then from St James's Park. Newcastle, Manchester United, level at 1 apiece. Players back out on the pitch. Pat Nevins with Mike Minay.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Doesn't look like there's going to be any changes at the break from either side. Alejandro Garnacho has just had some strapping applied, I think, in and around his calf or ankle area. But yeah, team's back out. And a big second half, certainly for Newcastle United in this race for the Champions League spots. We now know that top 5 will do it this season. That was courtesy of Arsenal's win over Real Madrid earlier this week. By the way, the second legs of the Champions League quarter-finals you can hear on 5 Live this week. Aston Villa PSG Tuesday night, Real Madrid Arsenal on Wednesday night. We are back underway here at St James's Park then. Fans, plenty of them still filtering in from their half-time refreshments. The home side, who took the lead through Sandro Tonali, now left to right in the second 45 minutes. Thick black and white stripes on the shirts, vertical stripes with the black shorts and the black socks to match. Manchester United now right to left, attacking the end where their fans are housed right up in the sky of St James's Park. Red shirts, white shorts, white socks from right to left. It is a lifted ball out towards the far side. Here's Harvey Barnes, left corner of the penalty area. Livramento's on the overlap, couldn't get the cross in. Mazraoui goes with him, forces him out towards the corner on the far side, and then nudged back by Harvey Barnes. 2 down, Burnham. Newcastle will build from the back and go again.
Yeah, really unlucky Livramento. Almost gets into the corner there. Again, that understanding he's got with Harvey Barnes, and as you mentioned earlier on, seeing he's actually a right back. He's not really bad, is he, out there? He's been absolutely superb, dangerous all the time, and when they get Lewis Hall back on the left and Livramento on the right, you wouldn't know where to stop those two going forward.
Newcastle now filling in slowly. What greater squad depth. Certainly an issue in their first season in the Champions League a couple of years ago. They do look set to be heading back to Europe's Premier competition after a year out. Had some special nights here at St James's Park in that group stage time as well.
I think they are better suited for it now. You're absolutely right. Stronger squad, but players that understand it better.
Header from Tonali finds Joe Linton. He was behind Isak on the play through on the edge of the D, so Manchester United are able to intercept then. Xerxes turns away from a sliding share and is suddenly heading towards the Newcastle penalty area. Dalot on the left-hand side gets a push from Tonali, but he seemed like he might be going down anyway, and I think that's what Chris Cavan has seen.
He's not complaining about it at all, Dalot. There's a little bit of a push, but he's running out of legs.
Amas, rare venture forward for him. The left-sided debutant, Premier League full debut today for Harry Amas, the 18-year-old. Takes a wild swipe at the ball, goes behind for a goal kick. And there's an issue here too. Sandro Tonali, who's got his boot off on his right foot.
Yes, he has. I mean, it was a brilliant chase back there, wasn't it? Because they were under real pressure. And the more I look at it, the more I think, Dalot, what on earth are you doing? Why go down? Apart from the fact you're running out of legs and you're getting a bit tired after a very decent run and a sprint. But he's just thrown himself quickly to the ground there when he's half a chance of putting a shot away.
And just having his socks readjusted by his teammate Bruno Guimaraes. So Pope's in goal for Newcastle, running through the two teams whilst we've got chance. Trippier, Share, Byrne and Livramento. The back four, Guimaraes, Tonali and Joe Linton in midfield. Murphy, Isak and Barnes, the front three. For Manchester United, Bayern Deer in goal. No Andre Onana today. He's given the chance to rest ahead of Lyon on Thursday night. Was at fault for both goals against Lyon in the first leg of the Europa League quarter-final on Thursday. Mazraoui, Lindelof and Yoro, the back three. Dalot, Ugarte, Eriksson and Amas. As Newcastle put one right across the 6-yard box. Murphy on the pullback, and Harvey Barnes was there. It might have even gone in off Victor Lindelof, but Newcastle United are back in front. 3.5 minutes into the second half. They knew they had a couple of games in hand to make a real claim for Europe, and they're seizing the initiative once again. Newcastle United 2, Manchester United 1.
That was a vicious break. The pace of it was extraordinary. But once again, I make no apology for going on about Tino Livramento. He is spectacular in this move. It didn't seem as if it was much on, but he flew forward on that left-hand side, and the ball he put in there is incredible quality. He gets the ball, he's just inside the Manchester United half. He's got a player mark him straight past him, and then zips in an impossible area for anyone to defend. The ball's cut back there, which again is exactly the right thing for Murphy to do, and that's the easiest goal that he's going to score this season. It's a tap in from 3 yards. Again, it's all about the play and the build up to it, and well done Livramento.
Harvey Barnes, definitely his goal, and scores twice in as many games for Newcastle United. Anthony Gordon who? Harvey Barnes is making that left wing attack his very own, and he has put Newcastle United back in front, leading by 2 goals to 1 at St James's Park, that has found its voice again. Just listen to the Magpie faithful.
It's always worth underlining that, isn't it? I mean, there are clubs in the Premier League, big clubs in the Premier League, you don't get a great atmosphere all the time. It's never a complaint here, is it? Or very, very rarely a complaint here. And today, these fans have been up for it, and they are loving it now in the second half.
They've won 11 of the last 15 coming in today. Newcastle United losing the other 4, but since that run began, of the 11 in the last 15, back on December the 14th, no side has won more games than Newcastle. Liverpool were level with them on 11 wins in those last 15 games as well. Liverpool beat West Ham 2-1 earlier. Now Newcastle United are doing the same against Manchester United here at St James's Park on 5 Live and the World Service. Trippier with a throw-in from the halfway line, right-hand side. Dan Burn just nudged it to his left-hand side. Garnacho was coming in there. Livramento tried to do his best. Dalot then intercepts it, brings it down for the Reds as well. And now here's Garnacho. Tries to trick his way past Livramento. The pullback is there, but it was aimless. And Tonali can just stab it away, low and on the ground and up towards the halfway line. Newcastle leading by 2 goals to 1. Manchester United don't often concede much on the road. They've only bettered by Arsenal when it comes to conceding goals away from Old Trafford. They have shipped 2 here today. Murphy for Newcastle, now Tonali. And now Guimaraes from inside his own half, right at the centre circle, lifts it long and over towards that far side, and now Barnes can attack down the left for Newcastle. Joe Linton with him. Barnes tried to trick his way towards the byline. Hit Mazraoui. Comes to Joe Linton, who finds Tonali in space. 25 yards from goal. Chose not to shoot on this occasion. Murphy might on the edge of the D. Showed too much of the ball to the Manchester United defence, and now Xerxes got to try and take it up towards the halfway line. Misses the challenger, Trippier as well. Xerxes still going. Fernandes to his left-hand side. Still Joshua Xerxes here. All the way out to the right corner of the penalty area. Then he holds it up.
Hamstring's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame. What a real shame there from Xerxes. Brilliant run. He'd gone in. He'd gone around 3, 4, maybe 5 players. And then it was just as if he'd been shot in the back of the leg. What a shame.
It looks like Rasmus Højlund's going to come on. It's all over at Bahrain. Harry Benjamin.
Oscar Piastri with a dominant display takes the victory here ahead of George Russell in the Mercedes, who just about held on from a fast-charging Lando Norris, who still holds the lead of this championship, but finished in third.
Harry, thank you. Full rundown will be on the BBC Sport website and app. There'll be more analysis in the Checkered Flag podcast as well, which you can get on BBC Sounds. It's also where this game is live from this afternoon. And if you missed the goal from Harvey Barnes to put Newcastle 2-1 ahead, you can rewind the live action as well. Probably rewind 5-6 minutes or so, and you'll be able to get Harvey Barnes putting Newcastle United 2-1 in front. Tonali and Garnacho in the first half had us one apiece at the start of the second half. So really unlucky for Joshua Xerxes. His run was from inside his own half. He took it right to the edge of the penalty area, but at the last stretch the hamstring went, and that's his afternoon done.
Absolutely 100%. The second that happened, you think Højlund must have known as well. He got right off his feet, right, get on there. So he'll be almost certainly coming on in a minute. He's not got his top off yet quite, which surprises me somewhat. Unless they're thinking of a different, maybe they're thinking of something else. Yeah, they are thinking of something else. Yeah. Oh, actually, it's a triple substitution they're going to make.
Yeah, triple substitution by Ruben Amorim in his black hoodie with the white stripes on it. He's just going to have a quick word with Rasmus Højlund. That'll be like for like. So that's Xerxes for Højlund. The other change is going to see Manchester United's goal scorer Alejandro Garnacho replaced by the returning Mason Mount, who is increasing his fitness all the time. And Harry Amas' full Premier League debut, starting today for the first time for Manchester United, is off. On comes Patrick Dorgu in his place.
Yeah, now, young Amas, I have to say, he does not look out of place in any way whatsoever in that team. Don't think he really did anything particularly wrong. He looked comfortable on the ball. Every player that he was playing with was comfortable getting him on the ball as well. I think he done himself proud today, and my eyebrows are slightly raised at him coming off, and also maybe Garnacho coming off. Having scored the goal, looking dangerous when he gets on the ball, but 2-1 down, they've got to do something now.
Some triple substitution by Ruben Amorim, who is averaging 1.15 points per game in the Premier League. Only 2 of the managers who've managed Manchester United for more than 20 games in the top flight have suffered worse points per game than Ruben Amorim. If you assume that 3 points is what was awarded for a win all throughout history, then A.H. Albert, Manchester United's first ever manager, is their worst ever manager. And Scott Duncan from the 1930s, who averaged a point a game as well.
I'm quite intrigued to see, just now. I mean, in the end, Amorim, you've got to give him till next season. It's got to be his team next season, and we'll find out. So I wouldn't be pointing too many fingers towards him. However, he's made a few changes here. They're bold. But one of the big ones is one I would want to see if I was a Manchester United fan. Eriksen further up the field. Get him in the 10 position. That's where he's absolutely at his best, and certainly that's where he's positioned just now.
He is just behind Rasmus Højlund, the substitute. Then the sun tries to break through the heavy, thick grey clouds that have come over St James's Park. Makes things a little brighter for now, as Murphy just cuts off Patrick Dorgu on the left-hand side, so plays it back to Nick Pope. And now Kieran Trippier is pulled down by Patrick Dorgu. Cheap free kick given away. They'll call that tactical, no doubt.
Yeah, says we'll want to do, but it's one of those ones you take a chance really if you're Dorgu doing that. That's an easy yellow card for the referee to give. It must have been a slight temptation for the referee. I was just trying to see, just for a moment I thought Manchester United might go to a back four Nope. Not a chance.
Don't be silly.
Not a hope.
Not with Ruben Amorim in charge. 57 minutes played. Newcastle United 2, Manchester United 1 on 5 Live tonight. More drama to come, no doubt. Can Rory McIlroy hold on at the Masters? You'll hear every shot from 7:30 tonight. Mark Chapman and the team from Augusta. As Bayindir plays a sloppy pass inside his own penalty area. There wasn't a lot Bruno Guimaraes could do at that point, but Murphy then lifts it in over the head of Tonali. Ugarte keeps it in. Dorgu makes sure it doesn't go out for a corner and sends it for a throw-in by the corner flag on this right-hand side.
Well, keeper's just too slack there, isn't he? Too confident, overconfident, but I just always feel sorry for the keeper's been expected to play out from a position that's hard to do so.
Guimaraes, Murphy in from the right, he's got 3 red shirts around him, trying to dance his way past Patrick Dorgu. Cross comes in, the slide from Dorgu results in a Newcastle United corner on this near side.
It's interesting to watch Hoyland. He has no idea where he's to go at a corner, and he's shouting over to the manager, where did I go? I think he's figured it out now.
Amorim takes his seat back in the dugout. Jason Tindall in his white hoodie. 2 very relaxed looking managers in their fashion this afternoon. And we wish Eddie Howe well, of course, in his recovery after taking the hospital early this week. And if you're listening, Eddie, to how your side's getting on, then we do send our best wishes. Short corner by Trippier in towards the near side of the penalty area. Trippier then goes over after a clash with Bruno Fernandes, which the referee has deemed fair, and the official on this near side that was right up with the action as well from that short corner. Trippier slowly gets back to his feet. Here's Isak trying to feed it on, but lazily doesn't get the connection he wants with it. Livramento had continued his run, but it's out for a Manchester United throw-in on this near side. Trippier's just gone down again.
I'm not sure, but we'll see it again here. I didn't think it was a foul, and I've seen it again now, and I'm pretty confident it wasn't a foul. There's a coming together without a doubt with Bruno Fernandes, who said to Trippier, I didn't mean anything there, you just ran into me, and Trippier accepts it well.
Clash of the knees, and Trippier just rubbing his left knee, is back in position. So United have made that triple change. Pat, do you think who gets the call on Newcastle's subs? Is that Jason Tindall, or is it predetermined?
Part of it may be predetermined, but in reality you've got to see what's going on. Is anyone suffering from a little injury? Anyone slowing down a little bit? I mean, you might have predetermined that you bring on Anthony Gordon and you can take off Barnes. Well, why would you just now? Because they look absolutely fantastic out in that left-hand side. Barnes, his understanding with Livramento on that left-hand side is as good as any in the league at the moment.
Harvey Barnes, the difference in this game so far. Newcastle leading by 2-1 as we almost hit the hour mark at St James's Park.
Dorgu's got to watch himself. I mean, he's hardly kicked the ball, but he's already dragged back 3 players. I mean, the referee's saying calm down, and the Newcastle players are around saying, is he playing rugby or football here?
Well, he's only been at the club since January, but certainly isn't scared to make a challenge. He was sent off in that home game against Ipswich in February.
I'm watching Trippier down here. I hope he's okay. He's limped a little bit, and he's slipping and sliding a little bit. I've noticed that. The thing is, nobody's actually put him under any one-to-one pressure, so we shall see if Manchester United can do that.
It's Trippier's delivery from the free kick on the halfway line towards Dan Burn, who tries to cushion it down. Dorgu will have to readjust. So will Alexander Isak, and the Swede does it better. Headed out towards the far side. Cross comes back in towards Burn from the left. From Fabian Schär. So the 2 centre-backs causing problems for the Manchester United defence there. Now Guimaraes can turn central position inside the Manchester United half. Isak just outside the penalty area, lays it to the right for Murphy. It's a cross deep towards the back post. It is Burns' header that goes over the bar, and behind for a Manchester United goal kick. Newcastle still lead 2-1.
He is astonishing, Dan Burn, isn't he? I mean, he's right. He's basically centre forward there, and that's in the middle of open play. He's supposed to be the centre back. He is. He's such a changed character. He has blossomed so much over the past. It's not just since the cup final, but the last little while.
Here come Newcastle again. Isak lifting it over again towards Tonali. We saw that in the first half. Tonali lifts a looping one towards the back post. Bayindir punches away before Harvey Barnes can connect with the ball. Here is Barnes just out the penalty area on the left, cross in. Bayindir comes out quickly, gathers it, races towards the edge of his penalty area. and has no options to go to, or no suitable options to go to.
He's actually loving this, isn't he? He's absolutely loving it. There's scoops, there's tricks, back flicks, but there's only one thing that he wants: someone to give him a chance. He's had one half chance in the game today, hasn't he? Header, couldn't quite get it on target.
It's scored in the reverse. Alexander Isak in Newcastle's 2-0 win at Old Trafford. And now come forward Manchester United with Mason Mount on the left-hand side. Dorgu will be on the overlap behind him. Cher slides in on the edge of the penalty area. Ball bounces away for a Manchester United throw-in by the corner flag, deep inside the Newcastle half on the left-hand side. Ericsson. United's counter-attacks aren't without threat, it has to be said. End product not quite there, bar the one effort they had from a counter-attack which they scored from with Alejandro Garnacho, who's now off the pitch. Ericsson, Ugarte, Yoro for Manchester United just inside the Newcastle half, left of centre. Yoro kept looking forward, didn't have that option, so went to Dorgu to his left-hand side. Fernandes and Ericsson play the 1-2. Now Ugarte as it moves towards the right-hand side. Here's Mazraoui. Uses support on the far side of the field. Manchester United right to left in his second half. And it's a ball forward by Ugarte that just straight into Joe Linton. Ball bounces into the Reds' territory, and then a slip at the back as well from Mazraoui. And here comes Harvey Barnes storming into the penalty area and scoring for Newcastle United to wrap up all 3 points. The man in form, Harvey Barnes, sends it into the top right-hand corner, and with a skip jumps by the corner flag. Jason Tindall with a clenched fist has a look back into the stand behind his dugout. That might do it for Newcastle United. In a pressured week with games in hand, they're taking the advantage. Newcastle United 3, Manchester United 1.
Well, I might talk about assists. Forget about assists in this one. This is all about the goal scorer. What a goal! I mean, it's a mistake with Manchester United. There's a little slip there, but you need to be able to take advantage of it. And the power, the physique that he's got, and also control of the ball. Mazraoui just slips over. When he's 1-on-1 with 2 defenders there, thinks nothing, just going straight for the heart of that defence. And it is, he's a knife through butter. Gets through it, and when he's in there, 1-on-1 with the keeper, you're not going to slip it in the side. He's just going to ping it into the top corner. What a phenomenal goal that is. He is in great form just now. 3-1, and probably deserved.
Right-footed, beautiful goal. And for the first time in 94 years, Newcastle United look set to do the league double over Manchester United. They had a 2-goal margin in December. They've got another one now at St James's Park. But he's on its feet. And the fans on the far side in a little strip of sunshine are dancing around with their hands above their head, clapping along. And Newcastle United are set in a big week where they had 2 games in hand over the likes of Chelsea, Manchester City and Nottingham Forest to seize the initiative and head not only for the top 5 or top 4, but they could be 3rd by Wednesday night. They take on Crystal Palace on Wednesday here at St James's Park. We'll have updates of that game for you on 5 Live as Fernandes sends the ball into the penalty area and comfortably gathered by Nick Pope.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I'm still not calling it yet. I'm not calling it 3 points yet, because Manchester United, as you said before, they do look dangerous on the break. They are capable of it, and I've seen enough of Newcastle United this season to know when they get rattled, they get rattled, and it crosses not only the pitch but into the stands as well. So if they can hold on to this and not lose a goal in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, they should be okay. But right now, Manchester United have absolutely nothing to lose. I expect them to really go for it.
Well, me and you were here, Pat, when Nottingham Forest were in town. And Newcastle were 4-1 up, and Forest ran out of time. They got it back to 4-3. Manchester United are offside here through Patrick Dorgu, and that's your case in point.
Exactly, and also because as soon as the 3rd goal goes in, I'm thinking, well, who are they going to rest now for this big game that you mentioned during the week? I'm not sure you can yet. I don't know how much you want to do that. Look, they've got real quality, and I do love Miley. He's a great player to bring on. You've got Gordon back. You're going to give him a little run at some point. Having said that, I don't think Harvey Barnes will thank you for taking him off with a hat-trick possibly looming.
That would be a brave decision from Jason Tindall, who stands with his hands in his pockets right now, tracksuit bottoms, white hoodie on. We will try and bring you reaction from the Newcastle United assistant manager here on 5 Live during 6:06. The number you need for that, 08085 909 693. He's Guimaraes. The fourth really would seal it for Newcastle. They're trying to get round the back of Patrick Dorgu here, who will just shield his body between the ball and Jacob Murphy, and that runs behind for a goal kick. Earlier today in the Premier League, Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2. Chelsea came from 2-0 down in that game. Liverpool beat West Ham with a late Virgil van Dijk header from a corner to beat West Ham 2-1. Wolves 4, Spurs 2. The other result, all games match of the day 2 this evening. And Bindeer sends it long from that goal kick of Manchester United. It's the halfway line, and then Guimaraes is tussling for it, goes down to the ground. Lenny Yoro just slots himself back on the left-hand side of a centre-back trio, Victor Lindelof and Nazar Mezraoui. This share for Newcastle United. Tonali just clips it up out towards the left-hand side. Dan Burn. It was a spinning ball, so struggled to control it. Back to Tonali and lifted up by Livramento on the far side. Newcastle's left. Chase on here between Barnes and Mezraoui. Mezraoui was always favourite for it, had the advantage in terms of the yardage. Back to Bindeer, who quickly plays it to Bruno Fernandes. Hoyland tries to get the turn on Cher, and Cher holds him back, so free kick to Manchester United, which they take quickly. Mason Mount out towards the right hand side. Dallow, we played 68 minutes, we're past the midway point of the second half. Challenge comes in from Livramento, takes the ball away from Dallow, and will move closer and closer to the halfway line.
But listen to those fans in the background who are singing Tino, Tino. And there's a reason for it. They watch this lad all the time. They know how fabulous he is.
Isak gets the turn on Eriksson, heads towards the penalty area. Murphy to his right hand side. Goal scoring king against the assist king for Newcastle United this season. Teaming up once again. Tonali has the space, 30 yards out, but quickly closed down, so didn't take on those fan shouts of shoot, Murphy's offside. He questions how. The official was banging in line with it. And United's free kick taken quickly has put them in all sorts of problems. Edge of the penalty area, Yoro and Fernandes. Well, that was nearly a real scrappy mess for Manchester United.
Yeah, but they need to take chances. And they need to move the ball as quickly as they possibly can. Mason Mount has come on, he's not really getting involved in the game, but you know the quality he's got. It's such a difficult career he's had since he left Chelsea, isn't it? After having a brilliant start to his career there.
And Yoro on the ball for Manchester United now. Patrick Dorgu, a Manchester United side who started today 11 points worse off than they were at this point last season. Newcastle United 9 points better off than last season after 30 games. And they are only 3 points worse off than the year they qualified for the Champions League as well. Lovely turn by Harvey Barnes into the penalty area, left-hand side. Sliding challenge comes in from Mezraoui, and that's going to be a Newcastle corner on the far side.
They've been shredded on that right-hand side of their defence, Manchester United. Time and time again, it doesn't matter whether it's Livramento or Barnes, or this time both of them working together. And that may be partly that, you know, the system isn't right, it's not working, we've got not the right players in there, but you're also against real quality back there. And at the moment, I was in at half-time, I chatted to one or two journalists, and one of them said to me, a wee bit lack of quality in this game, and I'm thinking, have you seen Livramento? Have you seen the brilliance of Isak? There's some real quality there just now, and most of it's in black and white at the moment.
Well, those fans in black and white behind Kieran Trippier have just given him a round of applause as he headed over to that far side to take this Newcastle corner on their left. It's another drifting one towards the back post. It'll look for Dan Burn, who heads it in towards the near post. Bindeer didn't get there ahead of Guimaraes, but got enough of a touch just to stop Newcastle doing anything more dangerous with that ball. Here on Newcastle United with Guimaraes back to goal at the minute with Patrick Dorgu pushing and wrestling with him. Another pull of the shirt from both sides there. Here's Murphy. He uses his body to try and get past Manuel Ugarte, had the turn but then ran into Patrick Dorgu. Lenny Yoro can slide it away, but it's cheap and easy for Tonali to intercept out of Mason Mount. And now there's a little turn of pace on the left-hand side byline for Newcastle to try and do something with Fabian Schär. Bruno Fernandes is on the edge of his own box. He's got the skills, but he's turning himself into more danger. Tonali trips him up, and the referee has given Manchester United the ball.
Well, this sums up the kind of fervour of these Newcastle players at the moment. Talking about Dan Burns quite a lot of the time. He's up there, he's centre forward, he's left wing, he's everywhere, right? Well, he sat back this time. The ball went into the left wing. It's Fabian Schär who's actually out there. This isn't open play that this is happening. They've got such a belief about it, such a willingness, such a desire, such a love of the game at the moment, these Newcastle players.
Newcastle side that just seem to be finding form at the right time. They lead Manchester United by 3 goals to 1. 72 minutes played here at St James's Park. Some very faint shadows being cast by the floodlights. Yoro intercepted by Tonali again, who is reading the play brilliantly this afternoon, it has to be said.
If you're a Manchester United player right now, it's very, very hard because the way they've been closed down all over this field, and here, listen to the reaction of the fans.
It's great from Newcastle United fans' point of view. Manchester United in all of that were playing some really clever, tricky one-touch football, but all the time black and white shirts were swarming in on them, and every time they found a way out of a tight bit of space, Manchester United, they turned themselves into another tight bit of space.
And there's times during the season when you can do that, and sometimes when you can't. And with Newcastle, obviously not having this European football, it's kind of helped a little bit. They're a little bit sharper, a little bit livelier. And also the fact when players have needed rested, there's been decent backup in various areas of the field. And that's what they've tried to build here, and there's a lovely feeling about it. One of the other things you notice today, it is Manchester United are playing, and it doesn't matter if it's a poorer Manchester United than usual, you're still up for it.
Manchester United side that actually dropped below Everton in the Premier League due to the goal difference swing. Here's Murphy, lifted free kick up towards the edge of the penalty area. Isak goes down in the box. Dan Burn, of course, won his header. Here's Guimaraes just to try and turn against Rasmus Højlund. Immediately Bruno Fernandes comes to join his Danish teammate. Manchester United have played their way out here, but then Patrick Dorgu swings the ball out towards the right-hand side, and that just needs Diogo Dalot to change direction from the halfway line back down the touchline to keep the ball in play. 16 minutes left.
You would think you'd make some changes now, though. I mean, maybe break up the game again if you're Newcastle. One or two players looking a little bit leggy in that midfield at the moment as well.
Here's Højlund crossing low from the left-hand side. This could be a big moment for Manchester United if they can find a route to goal. It comes to Ugarte, who low-driven shot straight down the middle of goal, and Nick Pope saw it all the way. Looks like they are going to make some changes here, Newcastle United, with a quarter of an hour to go or so, and it will be Anthony Gordon to come on. Well, if it is like for like, Harvey Barnes is going to be not the happiest man on the pitch.
Yeah, but he'll enjoy the reaction he'll get because these fans know what he's done today. He has been brilliant today, and there's a big call. Who gets a shout for that number, that outside left or left wing call next week? It's a really tight one now.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem that Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall will want to have, no doubt. Luke Shaw's also going to come on for Manchester United at the moment. His first bit of action in a while, as poor ball to the edge of the box in Newcastle. He's picked off by Dorgu, but he just passes it effectively straight back to Bruno Guimaraes, and the Brazilian is allowed to turn, plays a couple of 1-2s with Sandro Tonali midway inside the Manchester United half. In fact, it's going to be a trio of Newcastle substitutions in a moment. Emil Kraft and Callum Wilson also about to come on for the home side, who lead by 3 goals to 1. Murphy cross in towards Isak, who trying to bring it down, was stretching away from goal in doing so. Trippier will bend the ball in towards the back post. Bayindir catches.
Yeah, I mean, Isak's gutted there because maybe about 6 inches closer to him, he probably brings it under his control, swivels and just taps it into the net. But I mean, he's been great this afternoon. He's probably going to go off now, and he is looking a little bit leggy, but he put so much work in.
Oh, here's Guimaraes, it's 4-1. Sloppy and mistake-ridden for Manchester United. And Bruno Guimaraes, the Newcastle captain, makes no mistake. And one-on-one with the goalkeeper, right-footed, slots it home, and Newcastle United lead by 4 goals to 1. He celebrates in the corner, and that now will guarantee 3 points in the Magpies. Pies?
Absolutely, they can make those changes now to their heart's content, because this game is now over. If you're going to play the ball out for the back, you've got to get it right, and they seriously got it wrong there. Really, really poor finishes. Gimares is 1-1. He's still got the goalkeeper to beat, but he's absolutely planted it with such comfort into the net there. Really good.
So Luke Shaw comes on as Manchester United make their one change. Mazraoui is the man replaced. The trio of Newcastle substitutes is going to see Alexander Isak replaced by Callum Wilson. No goal for Isak this afternoon, but a standing ovation as he heads off the field. Also off, Jacob Murphy. So that means that Harvey Barnes will stay on for his hat-trick. Anthony Gordon's going to come on this right-hand side. Emil Kraft is the other replacement for Newcastle United, as the changes are made by Jason Tindall.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it's not making it markedly weaker, is it? Bringing that quality on. Plays it really comfortable. Watching Gordon go to the left-hand side. Maybe switch it up a little bit here. Yeah, now Barnes will just come to the right-hand side. And that is a great thing to have those two, one either side, and the dangers that they can pose to any defence in this league, or indeed any league.
Harvey Barnes against Luke Shaw now then. On this near side of the field, Newcastle's right, Manchester United's left. Here are the first touches since December for Luke Shaw, who's had a season plagued by calf injuries. The 4-0 win over Everton on the 1st of December, his last Premier League appearance before this one today. And he's come into the situation with his side 4-1 down.
See, if you get a fully fit Luke Shaw, he is perfection for the system. He can play left centre back absolutely comfortably, left wing back when he was at his best and his pace phenomenal. He is the perfect player if you can get him fully fit and keep him fit.
He's shown what he can do when he's fully fit for club and country, Luke Shaw. And it's keeping him fit that is the biggest problem. I did see a stat the other day that Bruno Fernandes has now overtaken him for Manchester United appearances, and Bruno Fernandes joined the club 5 years later than Luke Shaw did. Here's Guimaraes down the right-hand side. A little shove in the back from Dorgu, but all fair, and that means he overpowers his pass down the right for Emil Kraft, and that's going to give Manchester United a throw.
I think when we talk about the changes, Yoro's gone to the right centre-back position, probably perfectly comfortable there. Lindelof central, and Mazraoui going off. I think he might be secretly quite relieved. He's had a difficult time.
Guimaraes, Gordon combined, edge of the penalty area, right-hand side for Newcastle. Now Gordon's got to get out of Guimaraes' way. Harvey Barnes just outside the box, 10 yards from the byline. Can't really see that gap to get the ball into the penalty area, so just lays it back down the line for Tonali for now. Newcastle United 4, Manchester United 1, with 10 minutes to go on 5 Live. Final round of the Masters to come tonight, where all eyes will be on Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau. Those two go out together. You can hear every shot live from 7:30 tonight. Manchester United next in action on Thursday night. We'll bring that to you as well on 5 Live Sport. The game at Old Trafford, second leg of the Europa League quarter-final against Lyon, 2-2 after the first leg. Guimaraes tried a little flick there, a fancy twist of the ball as it went between his legs, and it hasn't gone to plan. Manchester United throw.
Yeah, Guimaraes just says, "Well, why did you run out of the way?" Well, you weren't looking where you were going to pass the ball, so how is he supposed to know where it's going to go? This is a big moment as well for Manchester United, getting Mainu back as well.
Yeah, Kobbie Mainoo's going to come on. The 19-year-old turns 20, exits his teenage years in 6 days' time. It's going to be for the Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes. Now, that's not a substitution you hear all too often. And is that with Thursday night in mind, perhaps, knowing that this game has gone?
Absolutely. I mean, he's not been sparkling today, but he's not been awful either. He's just not really been able to put an impression on this game, and that's got to do with the 3 that he's been up against. The midfield of Newcastle have been absolutely solid today.
First game since the 2-0 home defeat at Crystal Palace for Kobbie Mainoo in the Premier League. Tonali sticks out a leg, beats Christian Eriksen to the ball. from that situation coming down this near side. Manchester United's left. It will be a throw-in that Newcastle will accept, I think. Here's Dorgu, gets the throw-in quickly from Christian Eriksen. 8 minutes to go here at St James's Park, and Newcastle United lead by 4-1. And 1-1 at the break in the second half. Up stepped Harvey Barnes with 2 of them, and also Bruno Guimaraes with what is now the crowning 4th goal for Newcastle United. And the way this game has gone, you wouldn't put it past another goal happening for either side, because Manchester United on the break have looked threatening at times. Here's Luke Shaw, left back position, lifts it up in the air. Kraft brings it down the top of his boot as the ball was lifted up in the air, but couldn't find another black and white shirt. Mount out towards the left-hand side for Dorgu. Draws level with the corner of the penalty area, gets it to the back post. Livramento heads it across the penalty area. Harvey Barnes helps it on its way out of the 18-yard box. Now Dorgu again, left corner, squares it in towards Mason Mount, takes the shot on with no power and no conviction, and that's an easy catch for Nick Pope, who wants to get things off and running pretty quickly. That was the goalkeeper's decision. Tino Livramento not quite on the charge.
What I was expecting was for Anthony Gordon to fly forward in front of him and drag a defender so he could get somewhere to run. But Anthony Gordon just jogged up there, so it kind of took all the momentum out of it. And at this moment, you're getting the blade races thing here, so they're celebrating the Newcastle United fans. But there's a psychological difference between 4 and 5, isn't there? A massive psychological difference. 4 is bad, you hate it. 5's a hammering. So A, Manchester United don't want that to happen, but B, these Newcastle fans would love to get a rare 5, not an unknown, but a rare 5 against Man United.
Yeah, and funnily enough, they beat Manchester United with 5 goals under Kevin Keegan, who they paid tribute to. Had a kick-off with a flag mosaic on the far side and 2 banners behind either goal, 2 large flags. Lewis Miley, he's going to come on, as is Sean Longstaff in a moment too. Sean Longstaff, one of 5 Newcastle players in the squad today that started that League Cup final between the pair a couple of years ago, when things were only just beginning under Erik ten Hag. For Newcastle United, it was that first Wembley appearance in a long time. They came back 2 years later, and this year won the League Cup. So Bruno Guimaraes replaced by Lewis Miley, who scored in that 4-3 game me and Pat were here to see against Forest back in February. Also off for Newcastle's Joe Linton. Sean Longstaff comes on for his 15th substitute appearance of the season, his 23rd overall.
Joe Linton, a little word, doesn't look very happy, getting shoved off.
He had a wry smile to begin with. I wonder if he wanted to take a little bit longer, but the referee said, come on.
I think it was Ugarte and him having a little bit of a dig at each other there.
Joe Linton helped off by Bruno Guimaraes, who kept forcing him further and further. In fact, he's not finished, has he?
He's also laughing. He's also laughing while he does it. He's enjoying that moment there. And brought in Miley and Longstaff, and again 2 players that they're not going to massively weaken the team, are they?
Lindelof just fired a ball to Rasmus Højlund, who actually took that really well on the chest. 5 minutes to go. Newcastle 4 and Manchester United 1. Mainu flicks it around the corner. Livramento intercepts. Now Gordon, the substitute, chases down Lenny Yoro. Wins a throw in for his side level with the corner of the penalty area out on that far side. Newcastle's left. Intercepted by Dallow. Here's Højlund backing further and further into his own half, and Newcastle swarmed him on the ball. They have it inside the centre circle. Sharon Tonali just rolling the ball between them so casually, so easily, so without pressure. Kraft towards Harvey Barnes, who gets a little shove in the back and wins a free kick 15 yards or so inside Manchester United's half.
I just thought they may have given Dunbar a wee chance to go up again. I think he's been looking for a goal all afternoon. He's got a taste for it now, hasn't he?
He might have scored 1 big goal recently, Dunbar.
Possibly one of the great iconic goals in Newcastle United's long history.
Most certainly so. One at Wembley at the League Cup. And to put Newcastle 1-0 up before Alexander Isak made it 2. Liverpool may have scored late, but Newcastle won't remember that Liverpool goal. First trophy in 70 years for this side from the northeast. A lot of history at this club. They want to make more. They want to get back in the Champions League. They're doing so. They're in the top four as it stands with this 4-1 win over Manchester United. Barnes just chips it on through for Longstaff to make the run on the right corner of the penalty area. And as Ugarte steps across with Kraft, Ugate's touch is last. And that's going to be a throw in Newcastle by the corner flag on this near side there, right.
It's just Manchester United want this to finish, don't they? They're desperate to get out of this. I mean, they were overpowered in the second half. The pace from Newcastle United, the closing down has been startling at times, absolutely brilliant. But the pure class on the ball and the finishing and the creation has been exceptional. I'm talking about class on the ball, Longstaff just kicks it out under no pressure whatsoever. But in general, it's been a fine performance by Newcastle United. And they look like a team. Look at other teams that are struggling a bit with problems obviously with Chelsea at the moment. Aston Villa have got a lot on their plate at the moment. And just look at Newcastle. They are flying as they go into this last period, trying to get in that top 5.
The 12 wins in 16 with this win over Manchester United. 4-1 that they have. 6:06 to follow. 08085 909 693. Newcastle fans, you've got to be in the driving seat. Manchester United fans, it'll be interesting to hear what you make of the decision to drop Andre Onana and Bindier under pressure. Inside his 6-yard box, he had Gordon racing in on him quickly and had to adjust his feet. It was a shuffle, whether he quite meant the piece of skill that he did or not. He got away with that.
I think you have nailed it there, absolutely nailed it. It looks brilliant, but he kind of didn't know what he was doing. He did a Cruyff when he tried to do a Maradona.
Got him out of trouble, and it prevented Manchester United conceding a fifth. So yeah, let's hear from you, Manchester United fans, tonight on 08085 909 693. What do you make of the decision to drop Andre Onana? Who would you play on Thursday night?
I'm not convinced it's the most important question they need to ask. There's a lot of other questions about Manchester United.
I'll just add it to the bottom of the list, I think.
Yes, it's one on the list. But in this second half, to be honest, I couldn't see there's any United players that's not putting their effort in. I wouldn't say that for a second. I think there's been a liveliness and a sharpness to some of the play, but in terms of pure quality and feeling like a group or a team together, they just look a long way away from top level.
Fourth side this season, Newcastle, to do the double over Manchester United. The most Manchester United have been hit by that since the 1957-58 campaign, when also 4 sides did the double too. Mainu, nice spin right at the centre circle. Turn out towards the far side touchline. Now Dallo up against Livramento. 30 seconds left of the 90 here at St James's Park. Square pass to the left-hand side of the D now for Luke Shaw, left-footed, killing it towards Højlund, who heads it under pressure from Cher, well wide of the goal, and a goal kick to Newcastle.
And I suppose if you're Newcastle just now, that's all you're looking at. Is everyone going to survive it to the end? Do you go for that and push for that 5th goal? I'm saying the last thing you want is one of these players that are set to get injured, because the back line looks great. You know, Dan Burn has been brilliant, but they understand between him and Cher. Cher's just come down there, looks like a little bit of cramp. You don't want anything to happen to them the way they're playing at the moment, because that whole back line is set and looking good.
5 minutes of added time here at St James's Park, and Jason Tindall will be very happy with his afternoon's work leading the dugout as Eddie Howe recovers. Did have a managerial spell at Weymouth. Jason Tindall back in 2007-2008, sacked after a year, and then did manage Bournemouth for the best part of 6 months in August to February 2020 to 2021. Eddie Howe left the club in August. Jason Tindall took over with the club 8 points outside the automatic promotion place in the Championship. They parted ways in February.
Do you know, I'd be intrigued if we do get a chat to Jason after the game, how much he'll say. I just send him out and told him what to do, as in do what you always do, because that's, you know, the system hasn't changed, the team hasn't changed, personnel, nothing has changed, just a little bit sharper and livelier than I've seen them in a number of games recently, because this has been one of their best performances and they've had a few good ones.
Barnes was just motoring towards the penalty area there, midway inside the Newcastle half. Dorgu challenged him. Dorgu's since gone down, and that's a free kick to Manchester United. Will Barnes get chance? One final chance for that hat-trick, maybe.
I'd just be intrigued if Newcastle got a penalty, would they allow them to take it?
I'm sure he'll be running over to that ball instantly to...
Forget penalties, if there's a free kick anywhere near the box, he'll be having that as well.
Gordon and Yoro tussling on the far side, deep in the Manchester United half. Back to Bindir it goes, who slides and slips as he kicks the ball high in the air back towards the halfway line. Dan Burn wins the throw-in on the far side. Still got 3 minutes to go with the 5 minutes of added time, and Ruben Amorim back to pacing his technical area, head bowed to the floor. Another difficult afternoon for the Manchester United manager. Throw on the halfway line to Newcastle, which they send into the Manchester United half. It is headed by Lindelof. Here is Mainu with a little flick through. Now Mount, two returning players from injury. Livramento sends it back to where it came, the edge of the Manchester United penalty area, where Bindir chests it down, then controls it. Here comes the pressure from Callum Wilson. Longstaff will join that little gathering as well. Clinks away from Bindir, not even playing it short to his defence, was taking no chances. Tonali, Barnes was just wrong-footed, and that allows Luke Shaw to come away. Now Rasmus Højlund across the halfway line. He is looking towards the Newcastle 18-yard box. He has Shaw on the overlap. It might be Højlund all the way here. Angle is tight. Shot takes a touch off the boot of Fabian Schär, carries wide of the left-hand post. Manchester United have a late corner.
Not interested in anything at all else there. Højlund, he wants to score a goal, and he wants to get that number 9, that shirt. You have the shirt, but he wants to position the centre forward his own. So he didn't look anywhere else. The shot would have been on target, but there was always a player in there, so he's probably got the best he could have there.
Corner taken to the edge of the penalty area by Eriksson. Shaw gives it him back. Eriksson whips it in. Downward header from Livramento away from the penalty area. Shaw will be first to it, but he's retreating back into his own half, and in fact goes all the way back to Altay Bayindir, his Premier League debut, one to forget. In place of Andre Onana, he's conceded 4 this afternoon. No glaring errors for the 4 goals, but no goalkeeper will want to concede 4 on any given day. Into the final minute of added time. Mainu left corner of the penalty area. Barnes wins the challenge, and it's brought away, and Tonali will come down the middle of the pitch. He's only got Wilson with him, who keeps trying to stall his run to stay on side. Tonali pulls well out wide to the far side left. Yoro goes with him by the corner flag. Tonali holds it up, lays it back, gets the cheer as he does so as well. Uses Lewis Miley. Now Anthony Gordon. Newcastle in no rush to get this towards the penalty area. Livramento back towards the halfway line, and Dan Burn comfortably has it for Newcastle.
They're loving it, these Newcastle fans now. There seems something just slightly different about Newcastle now since they won that cup. There's a real... It's that classic one. They thought they were good enough before that. Now they know they're good enough because you've actually got that trophy, and there is a swagger, and they've had a swagger for large parts of the second half.
The shackles are off, the weight's been lifted, and with 4 goals this afternoon, Newcastle United rise into the top 4 of the Premier League. First half, Tonali put them in front, Garnacho levelled, but then it was a brace from Harvey Barnes before Guimaraes wrapped it all up. And Manchester United may have their focus more on Thursday night in the Europa League and getting past Lyon, but once again in the Premier League they have fallen well short. For Newcastle, who had 2 games in hand, one of them gone this afternoon now, they knew they had to seize the initiative, and boy have they. They're into the top 4. Newcastle United 4, Manchester United 1.
Just looking at the Premier League table, Pat Nevin, this time next week, Liverpool could be celebrating winning the Premier League. Meanwhile, we have got just 3 points between Nottingham Forest in 3rd and Aston Villa in 7th. That race for Champions League places that Newcastle United are right in the middle of is going to sustain us all the way through to the final day, you feel?
Look, it's a race, and if you're zipping along that motorway, Newcastle United on the outside lane right now, and they are got their foot to the floor. Is that 8 wins in 11 domestic games? 2 of those ones that they didn't win, one was against Liverpool, one's against Man City. That's fair enough. they're on phenomenal form just now, and they're flying, and they look to have lots and lots of backup as well. Aston Villa, they're right in there as well. They're in a good run, you can't argue with that, but they've got a lot of things on their mind. They've got cups in their mind, so they're going to be pushed a bit. Chelsea not flying at all, stuttering along maybe in the middle lane, so it's going to be really tough. But you watch Newcastle playing like this, and another home game against Crystal Palace here on Wednesday night. If they win that one, they're in third place, and B, the next game is against, I believe, Aston Villa, and they could be almost there, home and host, 3 games down the line. It is that close for Newcastle United just now, but it's that close for everyone if you go for a run. So right, what a great end we've got to this season for those positions.
Pat, Mike, thank you very much indeed. Pat Nevin and Mike Minay inside St James's Park, where it's finished Newcastle United 4, Manchester United 1. As far as Manchester United go, by the way, because we're talking about the top 5, they are 17 points off 5th position in the Premier League, which is the exact number of points that they are above Ipswich Town in the relegation zone. 08085 909 693. Get your calls in. Don't forget, in exactly an hour's time, coverage of the final round of the Masters here on 5 Live with Mark Chapman and the team. Now it's time for 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage.
Are you ready to have your say? In the UK's biggest football debate, your teams, your views. Get ready. This is 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage on 5 Live.
Welcome to 606. Chris and I are here until 7:25, taking all your calls before live coverage of the final round of the Masters. Earlier, it was a nervous afternoon at Anfield.
Here it is, headed down and in! Van Dijk! It's Virgil van Dijk! And the captain immediately makes up for the error at the other end. New contract round the corner, and he proves his worth here at Anfield. Liverpool 2, West Ham 1.
Moments before, Chris, they're going to get it. The 20th title, the joint with Manchester United, it's theirs. Give it them now.
Yeah, they should do. A huge 3 points. And Virgil van Dijk, John Murray said, didn't he, in commentary, it's the contract is round the corner. Mo Salah has signed. Can they go on next season, Rob, and really dominate for years to come, this Liverpool team?
Oh, yes, Liverpool and West Ham fans, we want to hear from you. Call us on 08285 909 693. It's St James's Park. It was all about the race for the Champions League.
Oh, here's Guimaraes. It's 4-1. Sloppy and mistake-ridden for Manchester United. And Newcastle United lead by 4 goals to 1. He celebrates in the corner, and that now will guarantee 3 points to the Magpies.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Call free 08085 909 693. Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. Visit bbc.co.uk/5 Live terms for our terms of use and privacy notice.
No Eddie Howe on the sidelines, and we wish him all the best. Manchester United were an absolute shambles. Christopher, Newcastle United, the Champions League places, they're up to 4th.
Yeah, up to 4th. What a season Newcastle United are having. Massive result for them today. There's only one United, Rob, but where do Manchester United go for that? They have to finish the season strongly, in my opinion. I don't know your view.
They've got to win the Europa League.
Well, that. But for Ruben Amorim to start next season, he needs to have a bit of faith from the fan base. But if they keep losing and playing the way they're playing, the start of the next season, blimey, the pressure's really going to be on.
Newcastle and Manchester United fans, we want to hear from you. 08285 909 693. What about your Spurs, Christopher?
Oh, I tell you what, Rob, another bad day for Tottenham, losing 4-2 to Wolves. I mean, fair play to Wolves. They're absolutely flying, aren't they, under Vitor Pereira? A huge week. You mentioned Manchester United. Huge week for Big Ange in the Europa, but Spurs fans, is the Europa League the only thing that can save Big Ange now? Ipswich and Chelsea fans, a 2-2 draw. What's going on at Chelsea? Didn't really do either of you any good at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea are wobbling, aren't they? Congratulations to Posh. And when I say Posh, I mean Peterborough, who beat League One champions Birmingham to lift the English Football League trophy. Were you there? Give us a call. And Rangers, last minute equaliser against Aberdeen. Wild celebrations. I mean, the league's done in Scotland, isn't it? Celtic 42 goals.
Good comeback, though. Fair play, Chris. Good comeback.
Come on, I mean, absolute amateur hour, Rob.
Hang on. So you should only celebrate when you win. When you win things.
Celebrating the fact that the league is done. Come on,
let me just ask
the Rangers bench. You're better than that. Come on.
Let me just ask you something. Are you doing a night with fellow Celtic legends because you got to a final? Am I wrong in hearing that? The road to Seville?
That's totally different, Rob. I mean, that's
you didn't win it.
I mean, it's not not the same thing
in front of people.
Yeah, but that's
you're doing a get together. Stories. The road to Seville. You haven't even won it. Wow.
But let's hear. Well, here's one. Barry Ferguson made a
Let's
lot
celebrate.
Of
we didn't even win it.
That's not a celebration, Rob.
You ever get together? Oh, wow.
Do you ever get together with your Derby team to celebrate being the worst ever team in the Premier League? But Rangers fans, can you beat Athletic Bilbao in the week? A lot of changes Barry Ferguson made today. I get why he made the changes, but let's hear from you Rangers fans.
And any of my Leicester teammates when we finish 13th in the Premier League, let's have a get together and celebrate and do a question answer in front of people. Right, 08085 909 693 is the number to call.